Do you think I can keep this shape?
No.
Yeah, we're gonna go with this.
All right. Oh, that was pretty impressive that you could move your head. You're like freezing a little bit though already, which is bad news. Okay, there we go.
Are
All
we
right.
here?
NTA episode 8 with Humble Dylan.
Yeah.
Got the username switching
If
up
I
again.
It
So
finally happened. It finally happened.
yeah. Yeah. The
After
moment we've
after
all
all
been
these
waiting
years,
for.
after all these years of people saying that I'm going to be humbled,
Hmm.
it finally happened. And for the first time in my career, something went wrong in a dog training outing,
Insane. Wow.
which is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Unbelievable.
if it happens to you, it means you should just never do anything remotely close to what you were doing when it went
Correct.
wrong.
Correct.
And what you should do to try to make yourself feel better is never challenge yourself or the dog in any context or any situation ever. And
Absolutely.
probably model your ongoing approach off of things that you see on TikTok and Instagram where people are
Hmm. Hmm.
luring dogs up and down aisles at Lowe's.
Yep. Well, if they're
And you
even
just
outside of their house at all.
yeah.
Just don't go outside. That's the solution, really.
No, I mean for people that aren't like actual degenerate maniacs that don't keep an eye on every platform that I post on. Um, it's really not. I do want to talk about it because I the reaction. Okay, so the whole thing is that Remy, my project dog that I have going right now, one of the angles that I was kind of going at with her was when I took her on, I actually have a time limit because of Christmas coming up, and I didn't know how disruptive this dog was going to be, considering the things I'd heard about her behavior around the house and all that type of thing, and the potty training and the vocalizing. So I'm like, okay, I promised my wife that I wouldn't have her through Christmas, um, because I just didn't know if this dog would just ruin, like, be a total like an anchor, you know what I mean, and just drag us down. Um, so that was hypothetically going to leave me with 4 weeks with this dog. I wasn't factoring in the 4 days with travel included where I'm going to be back at Training Without Conflict for a weekend event. So that puts us down to like 3 weeks and some change. And I did all of the coping and seething about the weather on last episode, which cut down our effective training time to something like 2 weeks, probably 2.5 weeks, I would say, where we were able to do like anything, right? So this dog is extremely challenging. She is the first dog that I've ever had that I would classify as reactive. Of course, I have trained dozens at this point of dogs that you would call reactive, that anyone with a functioning brain would call reactive. I am just so I am so violently refuting the status quo. I once called it the reactivity industrial complex, which is pretty much everyone in the dog professional sphere, from trainers to veterinarians to pretty much like anyone actually that works with dogs. What we consider to be a behavioral issue is totally ridiculous. Dogs that just want to go see another dog and they like lunge on a leash are classified as having a behavioral issue, which in the strictest sense, I'm sure, whatever. But it has turned into, again, the industrial complex. It has turned into its own sector in dog world where people they make entire careers and businesses
Hmm.
off
And
of
gimmicky
treating these
protocols and
dogs,
act. Yeah.
keeping the dogs reactive and selling false programming. When the dogs literally just like, I'm telling you, 95% of them, if you socialized them properly and then told them to stop being retarded, they would just stop doing it.
I would say even 99.9%.
99, yeah, maybe like 99. Like really, even if you take my program with Inga that you can watch on YouTube for free, she was brutally reactive. But the fix, like, it was all social. It was like developmental. she missed this huge period of this window in time where she was on gabapentin and trazodone, locked away in a dungeon between the ages of 6 months and a year. And by that point, when she goes outside for the first time, she's going crazy. But that's not a reactive dog. She's doing explosively reactive behaviors, but there's nothing like
Right.
that was
It's
that
actually
was
very
done
straightforward.
right. That was
Yeah.
done to her.
Yeah. That's not
Straightforward
her
for us.
baseline temperament. Yep.
Straightforward for us,
Well,
by the
yeah.
way.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like pretty much everyone would have treated her like she was some monster.
Yeah.
They would have.
But
I mean,
there's
she would
nothing
have died.
special going on with her brain that's like
Right. Right.
actually a
And
problem.
that
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean that there weren't challenges during her program. She's actually one of the dogs that I'll talk about a bad outing
Yeah.
that I had because I want to talk
Simple
about
but
that.
not easy. Yeah,
Right.
it's like straightforward
For
in the
us.
way that it's like straightforward for me to put a BH on a dog doesn't mean it's easy.
Right. You have to do the
But
work, and that
yeah.
there's skill expression and there's behavioral things going on, but there's nothing in the dog's wiring that I would have said she is seriously out of control. Remy is seriously out of control to a level that is actually pretty sad because she she knows it's happening, and at this point we have enough of a link where she looks at me and is like, I can't stop. 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 It's like crazy. So to give the that's sort of like the foundational stuff, but like the background as to why I want to talk about this type of thing. I put up a post yesterday saying that the 3-week experiment is over. I got the green light that I can just keep the dog for an appropriate program and actually do things the way that I would want. So the 3-week thing was a complete failure. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I went in thinking like that and behaving as if I only had 3 or 4 weeks. I'm glad that I did it so that I could see what would happen, right? And it was a catastrophe. If I sent her back to her foster, it would be as if we never did anything at all. They would fall off the deep end in 3 days. Not even, probably. It would take a couple bad walks and it'd be over. So it's good. It's good to just see, like, I wonder what would happen. And
And
now I know
side
I know what
note,
happened.
a normal reactivity program in like industry standard is, like 4 weeks. Like a
Right.
basic obedience program is like
Maybe.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
And even when I run like my off leash program is 3 weeks, and I always feel so fucking rushed because it's like
Right.
changing. There's so much cognitive load on the dog that giving them time to change is just so important and so overlooked. And I'm just like, God damn, like it is very frustrating that is sort of the standard expectation that has been created by marketing and whatnot. Because it sets people up for failure. It sets new trainers up for failure, thinking that that's normal and that you're supposed to be getting concrete, solid results, lasting results that clients don't have to upkeep after that amount of time, and sets owners up for disappointment. It's yeah, I'm definitely hoping that that kind of goes away a little bit because I think you can get a lot of stuff started in 3 to 4 weeks, but there's a lot that has to go right in order for that to actually stick long term at home. But anyway,
That deadlines just make dog training terrible, right?
yeah, they do. They do.
So I was operating under a deadline with one of the most challenging dogs I've ever taken on. She immediately it could change as things go because, like I've said a million times, a behavioral modification program is an ongoing evaluation. So you don't really know how challenging a dog truly was until the program's over, in my opinion, or even like when the dog's home or whatever. But you can get you can get like a really good idea while you have the dog. Like I think like a very strong idea of how challenging a dog is when you do like what I want to do. Like it's like 2 months. This dog might need 3.
Yeah.
She's brutal.
Well, and you
She's
almost start to
really
get a
bad.
feel for what how robust the results are. Like I almost wish that I could just be like, okay, like 6 weeks was enough for this dog, send him home, don't bat an eye, or like, no, I need 3 months. And that was just like totally normal because I can tell even like this most recent, we'll get back to Remy. This is like kind of off topic of what people want to hear, but I had a recent off leash board and train that was just supposed to be like basic obedience. Dog had like a really nice temperament, like very confident, very boisterous, but definitely had never had a boundary set in his entire life. And that just like blew his mind. So like even getting started with obedience actually ended up being much more challenging than just like teaching the mechanics,
Hmm.
and getting like the motivation right and just the really like all of the things. And I was like, oh my God, like 3 weeks was such a crunch. Um,
Yeah.
but so it's like with that dog, like by the end of it, I was like, okay, this is gonna stick enough. Um, but definitely if I had had that dog another week, it would have been like, okay, I'm actually confident. Um, so I wish it could just be those like judgment, like that's what I do with trialing my dogs. Is I'm like, I make the decision to trial when I just like have that feeling where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is fluent and generalized enough and yada yada. And it sucks that yeah, deadlines just prevent that in the pet world as easily, and logistics, and there's obviously more variables than in the sport world, but anyway.
Well, I used to have to I used to hate having to contact an owner like 5 days into the program and be like, your dog actually has problems that you just didn't know about. And I didn't hate it because the dog has problems. It's like I get to work with something potentially more interesting. I just hated having to be like the guy that
Yes, the sales
it, no
guy
matter
that's like, "Oh, actually, your
no
car has all
matter
these
how
problems."
no matter how I tried setting it up, it always felt like a breaking the bad news moment, which it's not. It's just the reality. It's just how it is, and I don't want to freak people out. So I always meet up with a client and their dog at least one time before I take a board and train. Um, and I tell they don't know that what I'm paying attention to, but like I'll be like, hey, tell him to stop doing that. If you don't like it. Like I want to see what you think that is, and I want to see how he reacts. And you still will get things that get through that you couldn't predict. But deadlines make everything feel really bad, especially when there's factors that you couldn't know about. And that like I knew coming in Remy was really bad. But you don't really know until you actually like go try to do things. Um, and that like you shouldn't be afraid to go try to do things. So so I had someone come from a little ways out of town, not like really really far away. And they brought a couple of their dogs, and I ran a little bit of a setup with them where I had the person playing tug with their dog, and then I had my car parked around a corner and I walked Remy by. And she spiraled for about 2 hours straight without slowing down. Um, to the point where, and I tried twice going hard on her. Dude, stop. Right. But there's so many things to talk about here, like so many things. And it didn't work. Like it did not. Like me stopping her stopped her. Like I have mechanical control over the dog, but that is not like that's a joke,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
That's a joke. Like I can't
yeah,
express enough how little respect I have for establishing mechanical control over dogs.
yeah,
Now, if you can do it in like a really cool way in a very specific uh situation or set of behaviors with the dog's attitude being good, then I'm like, okay, very cool. Now there's craft, there's dog training craft going on. But in this moment, I'm trying to use I'm trying to leverage mechanical control to make this change. I'm pointing at my fucking noggin right now for anybody not watching. That's I'm trying to use it to have an impact on the behavior, right? So easily we could have turned this into I'm going to stim you into a down on this bed, and you're just going to lay there whimpering and shaking, and I could be like, look, we got a 40-minute down. We could have done that. But we didn't do that because I could tell this was not working. So the look she gave me when I got on her, pretty hard for her, which is laughable. Which I know everyone's going to be like, oh, an 18 out of 100 on the electric collar makes her
Good.
go
Yeah.
holy shit, right? Because
Yeah.
when I use it intelligently, which is sparingly,
Yep.
uh, which is to
That'll
say
blow people's minds that
I
that's
don't
going
just
hard. It's
I
so
don't
funny.
desensitize her to it. If I tapped on a 30, she would probably think she was going to die.
Yep. Yep.
So like the highest I've tapped is like a 20, right?
Mhm.
And that is in her state of psychosis. That is actually enough to stop her, but she doesn't let go of the thought and the emotion, right? So I tried stopping her a couple times, and I'm telling them stop playing, start playing, switch back and forth, go over here, go over there, and we're
Sorry.
probably
This is gonna sound like a stupid question, but I want to cover it because I feel like this is people's instinct a little bit. Why didn't you just go higher on the electric? Like, why didn't you just go like suck it 80?
yeah, because the way she looked at me was not the way she looked at me was saying, Dylan, I can't stop.
Yeah. Okay.
She looked desperate. Like she was looking to me for like, dude, help. Like I don't know. Like I need help. Um that is why I tried it once. I saw a little bit of that look. I tried again, and then she really turned and like laid and looked at me, shaking because she's trying to not explode
Yeah.
at the dog.
Right.
And she's looking at me like, dude, I can't. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I get her up
Because
and we walk.
I think sometimes people would be like, "Oh, it almost worked.
Right. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
like stopped, so just go harder a couple more times and it'll
This
work."
is
And that's
yeah.
it's a bad
This is
mistake.
this is
Yeah.
one of those you don't have to have experience training dogs because a lot of people have more experience training dogs than I have years being alive that
Yep.
wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You
Correct.
have to have experience paying dogs where you are first and foremost paying attention to the emotions.
Yes.
So you basically don't start training dogs until you start paying attention to emotions. I don't count anything else. I genuinely do not fucking care. Like I don't care if you've been training dogs for 50 years. If you are bad, I don't care, right? So in my opinion, you are not good until you can recognize the dog is being actively defiant. The dog is saying, dude, I need more time. The dog is saying, dude, please, like, I need comfort. I need reassurance. Like, you need to be able to figure that shit out. And the only way is to, like, open that third eye that you
Yeah.
have. Be like, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm paying more attention to that. Um, and you let go of all of the mythologies. Um, you know, uh, Punishing a fearful dog makes them more fearful. Bullshit. False. Comforting a dog when he's reacting just by default makes him more reactive. Bullshit. These are all things that have to be evaluated in context based on the emotions of the dog, the stage of the training, the trust, like everything.
Yep. Yep.
So you just anyone that makes those just hard statements is a fucking lunatic. It's insane. Um, so so with her, like we have that moment where she like looks at me and is like, dude, like I cannot do this. Like, okay, then we get up and we start walking around. I got her to play with me for a minute. She was playing pretty hard, but then we got back up to the other dog and they're still playing and she starts going off again. I'm like, okay, this is just not. I would say we probably spent 10 or 15 minutes in that scenario with that dog playing where we're practicing like, yo, you're gonna lay here for a minute and then getting up and walking out and playing and again I got on her twice and it just was not there was no movement.
Yeah.
Um like I could
Did you
tell
try
we were
playing with her in the presence of the other dog, or it was like, "Oh,
yeah,
we're gonna go take a break, blow some steam,"
both.
and she couldn't
Both.
even play? Okay.
No, so when I stepped her out, she would play pretty consistently, and then when we were close to the dog, she would play about 50% of the time. Um, but but even then,
Did you
like,
try punishing the not playing? I'm just
yeah,
curious because we talked about that last time. Okay, that
yeah,
didn't work either.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
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 Um, it worked for a moment. She hit.
Yeah.
It did happen. It did happen as you predicted, where you're probably going to have her hit the toy harder than she ever has. That absolutely did happen.
Mm,
And then she stopped and then would not play again. Uh,
damn.
and she is like lost.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There's just nothing,
So
nothing behind the eyes.
so we're like, okay, like this is just way too much.
Yeah.
I finally pulled the cord and I had the dog's meat. That's fine. And it was a young male Malinois. So he's kind of a little bitch and kind of like pushes her around a little bit, but she likes it. Like she likes it. She's like, "Oh my god, boyfriend," right? Um and then we go for a long walk. Really, really long walk. And she didn't calm down 1%.
Wow.
Um, she's reacting to lawn ornaments.
Wow.
She's fixating on at like a little maintenance site, they have little pink flags on the posts that were
Yep.
blowing. She's fixating on those from like 40 yards away.
So it
We're
wasn't even necessarily about the dog at that point. She just was like so spiked.
she cannot recover. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We were out there for probably an hour and a half after that. So it wasn't a full 2 hours. It was probably somewhere between an hour and a half and an hour 45 minutes that we were out, and she was not she never felt normal again.
Wow.
Um they've switched dogs, brought out their second dog. She met him. They're really cool together, walking together. She didn't blow up at him or anything, but she did not stop scanning and twitching and spinning and hitting the end of the leash and just totally. And I get that I am probably more sensitive to the emotions than the average. I think that's probably underselling it harshly. But and like some people may watch that and be like, "Oh, that's just like an excited dog walking up down the." No, 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 no. She was like, I can tell when she's losing her mind.
Well, there's a
Um,
difference between excited and happy and stressed.
like
Like,
wired. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like
Um,
that is not a positive state for the dog to be in.
right, right. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So so then to round out the uh the morning because we
Did I
spent
just
like the whole.
accidentally have myself on mute for like a minute?
No, I could hear you.
Okay.
I think. What did you say? There's a difference
Uh
between happy and a dog like
yeah, that
panicking.
was
Yeah,
weird. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know why my thing okay, okay,
No,
sorry.
we
Go
got
ahead.
you.
Round out
the
the
people,
morning.
the people, the people can hear your voice,
Good.
which we need. We need more of the female presence on the
Yes.
program. We need not less. That's what I've been told. Hang on, I gotta make sure my upside down triangle is peaked when I say that. I want to have crisp points when I say elevated shit like that. Yeah. Um. So to round out the morning of training, before we get into my post and people's response to it, because I actually think that is just as interesting. Uh, so again, these people were from out of town. They're maniacs, and they came by for the day to day experience, and like my dog was out of control, and like I wasn't coping or anything. I was like, yeah, guys, like seriously, she's just like having a really hard time. But it's really useful, and I'm skipping the line a little bit. It's incredibly useful to get this information. But we weren't going to end on that, so we load up in the car and we drive 20 minutes away to a store that Remy's been to a couple times. She really likes this store. And it was really busy, really, really busy. And previously, like before we started training, she'd even be reactive to people and like strange objects and things like that. And we went into the store and we had separated from our group with their dogs and we ran into them like around a corner. There's no reaction. And I release her. She says hi. Cool. There's more dogs. There's more dogs in the store. There was like an out of control border collie dragging his owner around.
Yep.
And Remy got like really like, whoa, what's that? I was like, yo, stop. And she was like, okay. And we healed by the dog. And like she recovered in 10 seconds. Like, okay. And then she's back to just sniffing and walking with our friends and their dogs. Um, and it was as if we had been training. It was just totally, yeah. Like like if it had just been the store trip, I would have been like, wow, she did very well. She's doing obedience. The behavior's good. She's enjoying being out in the environment. She saw the dog, started to go into a reaction. I said, "Yo, come on," and she went, "All right." She yielded, and then calmed herself down, and it was totally cool. We were in there for over a half hour. Had a great time.
Oh, so do you think the difference was the fact that like outdoors is more stimulating, or the fact that
Mm-mm,
this is a practice environment in the store?
mm-mm, neither.
Neither. Okay. What do you think?
The playing dog.
Playing dog.
Yeah, that's what did it. Her seeing a Belgian Malinois
Oh,
playing with the owner.
yeah, 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 yeah. I forgot that that
And
was how it started. Yeah,
they play very well. They play properly. This is not normal pet dog attempts at
yeah.
playing.
It's high arousal or
This
like yeah, very intense.
this girl, by the way, she's in a wheelchair and she probably weighs like 75 pounds. She's playing
Yeah,
like full contact possession with a male
love
Belgian
that.
Malinois.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like slamming into her chair, and I'm like holy shit. I can't, like, my reputation can't handle someone in a wheelchair coming out to train with me and like getting broken in half. But then like I look at because her boyfriend was there too, and I like looked to see if he reacted, and he looked totally
Yeah.
casual. I was
He's
like,
like,
okay,
oh,
so
this is
they
a
do
day
this
in the
shit.
life.
They just do this all the time. Okay. And she has
That's
total
cool.
control over the dog. It's actually really crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, it was the playing dog, and that's kind of
yeah,
getting ahead into. Well, we can cover this now, like what I'm going to be doing, because this is incredibly valuable information that warrants more testing that I will likely do today. Um, but when you start to no, I want to get into the like the community reaction first, okay?
yeah, yeah,
And then I want to go back and forth about like what like I want to know what you would do next because I know what I'm going to do.
yeah.
Well, maybe I'll change my mind again if you tell me something better. But I put up a post yesterday, so I went home. I got the green light from the fam, because she's amazing. Remy's amazing with my kids. Like she plays with my kids, wrestles with my kids. She's like fucking amazing. I got the green light that I can just keep her through Christmas.
Nice.
Um, I told the trainer that's going to be fostering her. I don't know if I publicly unveiled this on the show yet, but there's a trainer in Connecticut that is 100% on
Oh,
fostering
nice.
Remy when the program's over with. So she was
Sweet.
going to be taking her in like a week. We're not doing that anymore, or a couple weeks or
Right.
whatever. Um, but she is like a good dog, like an actual dog trainer. She's going to be taking Remy. I told her, but now I'm going to do an actual program.
Yeah.
So I put up a post, and like when I say an actual program, I am in reference to the look she gave me the second time I got on her when she was saying I need more time.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. I need help. I need more time. That is that is immediately everything that I thought I had as a plan is gone, and it does not matter. It's like she needs more time. She needs help, right? So an actual program for her is likely going to be 2 or 3 months. Now this is a very fun place to be because she is the most reactive dog that I've ever had, and I don't know what's going to happen, but she's a project. So this is not a paid client with a deadline. This is like I can just see what I can do, which is amazing. And it could
Mhm.
fail. Like it could fail, and we're gonna get to that. Um, but I put up a post saying like, "Yo, this dog is actually like I'm finding this dog to be very challenging. She's like we had a really bad time yesterday. We went out and it was like a catastrophe. I think I called it a disaster, a catastrophe, or something like that. It was like it was really bad. And the reaction, I love our audience. We have the best audience. The reaction was sort of as if I had posted a cancer diagnosis announcement where people are like, "Whoa, like appreciate you telling us and being transparent in these hard times and you know um, you're always keeping it real and we're just hoping for the best." Guys, it's okay, dude. And like I I'm trolling, but there was a little bit of that sentiment, and I thought really hard about it. I was like, why are people that are like legit dog people almost acting sympathetic and surprised that something I did went wrong?
Yeah.
Um, and I do appreciate people being like, I hope it's all right, and the humility, like you're so like humble and things like that. I'm like, well, this is actually just normal,
Yeah. Yeah.
like beyond normal. And I I've never thought, as much as I've thought about how badly I hate the dog training community and like how they treat people and how they've tricked the false expectations of what dog training is that's imposed on all of us. I haven't thought of it this way. No one talks about failure ever.
Right.
And maybe I'm even guilty of that at some level, but I was like, I don't hide it though.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
but
there's
the thing
also a little bit with you specifically where people have a little bit of a like halo effect in that like they're really impressed by what you're doing and therefore it feels incongruent for
yeah,
you to have a failure. So like it is, I think, a little bit more like you've kind of, I don't mean curated in like a
no.
shitty way that you've like duped people on purpose, but like you've curated this image of being better than average. So then people are kind of like, oh, well, he must not have these bad catastrophic sessions.
Well,
So I
no,
think that's
no.
also part of it as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well,
go ahead.
compared to the average, I'm like Moses parting the Red Sea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit of
Like,
like,
but I'm like I'm telling you that the like
but it
at
is
the
also weird for people to just
well
say
well
that shit
let
went
me
wrong
let me
too.
put it this way. The reason why I said yes to even doing the show to begin with was you said something to the effect of, you talk as if people can read your mind and get the full
Yeah,
picture of
yeah,
everything that you say.
yeah.
So it made me think back. I was like, well, I know that I posted. It's like, what's a really good standout video where things work good? It's like, well, I
Mm.
posted a clip with Inga, and the reason why it popped into my mind was because of an unrelated, unique individual that recently my interactions with. Like I have a warrant out for my arrest in Rio de Janeiro because of this person. But I posted a video with that dog Inga where we were walking by dogs, and the emotions were bad. They were not good. And I remember writing something to that effect in the post. I was like, the emotions, like, she does not look good. Like, this is like, she's in a weird, it's not avoidance, but she's almost like expecting something
Conflicted.
bad to happen. Yeah, yeah. It's like she's definitely in emotional conflict as we're passing these dogs, and this is not good enough. I said something like that. This is not good enough. Like, I'm not gonna stop here. Like, this is not good. And in my mind, when I write that out, I'm thinking this would be an unacceptable stopping point.
Yes. Yeah.
Unacceptable. I would quit if I sent a dog home like that. Not really, but like I would
Yeah.
fix it. I would do anything I could to fix it. I would not stop until it was fixed. But I think maybe that I, in my mind, I'm taking it so deathly seriously and I'm being so critical of myself. And it's not necessarily coming across in what I'm saying. So, like,
Yeah, because even that was like night and day better from what people saw as the initial like before
yeah.
video. So I think like they don't even register that as
But to me, that's not an
um
accomplishment.
right, right,
Like like
right,
that's like, who cares? Like I don't like,
right.
I genuinely don't care. I'm not proud of myself for that. No, that sucks. That's fucking terrible. But like I'm operating with the knowledge that the program is still ongoing. But it's not good. Like that was a bad outing. You know what I'm saying? But I again, my intentions are clear and I gathered information. I know she needs more help here. I'm learning about what's wrong right now, right? Um so I don't hide like the bad things that you would consider to be bad. I guess maybe I just
Right.
don't express truly what I think about it. And
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
with the post about
Well,
Remy
and
where I'm
you don't make a big deal about it as like,
right.
because I think there's also people will say that they had a really bad day and it's like the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
also kind of opposite end of the spectrum that's just like,
yeah,
bro, fucking calm down.
right,
Um, so it's like you don't highlight it to that point where people are like, oh my God, dude, shut up.
right.
But it's also like subtle enough that if you don't know to look for it, you're probably not gonna see it too. Um,
But even
unless
like
you really highlight it. Yeah.
I talked about this particular helper didn't want to be on camera. Totally fine. But the last person that Ollie nipped, I didn't think that was going to happen. I did not think it was going to happen. If I could have put a bet and been like, no, it's not going to be a problem, and he had a problem, and we dealt with it. That's a little bit different because that was a more overtly constructive bad outing because I got on him and it was like he took it very well.
Yeah,
Um,
that was like ended up being a training scenario when you thought it was just gonna be another day kind of
right.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's exactly right. I figured we were just getting another rep, and it ended up being a rep
Yeah.
of something else, basically. But like that did not go according to plan. You know what I'm saying? Um, so
And I think maybe that's the difference too, is like people are kind of used to you having like an answer, right?
Mhm.
Of like, oh, this is yeah, I'll nip someone, this is how I reacted, and it worked, you know, in the sense of like it had the outcome that you were sort of expecting, even if the situation was unexpected. Whereas with Remy, what is interesting and where like we'll finish dissecting it, I'll stop talking, but you kind of are like, oh, I need to actually go back to the drawing board and think about this a little
yeah,
bit. Like it did actually pretty drastically change the plan in terms of extending the program and et
yeah,
cetera, et cetera. So I think that is potentially a little bit more unusual, actually, now that I say that out loud that way. But anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, like we took a shot,
Yeah.
and it was just a total like airball. It could have worked, and then in that case, we skipped like 4 weeks of training where I'm unnecessarily holding her back. So we went to check. It's just that we checked way too much,
Yeah.
and we couldn't turn it into anything constructive whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
total, like we walk away with a total loss. Just information gathering, but the dog does not improve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I guess the idea of it being humble to be like, yo, that was bad doesn't make sense to me. But when I say earlier, compared to the average like behavioral mod program, I'm like Moses parting the or Jesus of walking water, whatever. Or when
Yeah.
I tell someone when someone comes to my page and says that, you know, you're terrible, and I go and I look on their page, when I say back to that person, you, your entire club, every mentor you've ever had, couldn't get this dog out of a crate. I'm so much better than you. We can't even have a dog training conversation if you weren't being a we couldn't even because you're so bad compared to me. When I say that, that's not like I'm speaking just in how I perceive the facts. That is totally disconnected from my own sense of worth. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
that's
I think
not
people can't understand that either.
right.
Yeah.
Like it's totally I'm totally just like I'm trying to hurt that person in that case and I want them to know that they're terrible. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not doing this as like my value as a human being. I need everyone to know that I'm so good. That's not what it is. So when it comes to the dogs, I am I'm being serious, guys. Like there's zero ego. The dogs the dogs are all that matters. So for it to be perceived as an exercise
I
in
think the
humility,
irony is that, sorry, the irony is
oh,
that
please.
because of the lack of ego, you come off as super egotistical.
Maybe
Like
like
that.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I say that when I say that like no, you would just kill this dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would kill him. I know you
Yeah.
and you know it too. Like we all just know. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not saying that as like a neener. Like, I'm being serious. Like you suck. You're terrible. I'm way better than you, right? And I'm going
Yep.
off of best available evidence,
Yep.
which is unfortunately very little. It's people's bad attitudes, their retarded statements, and my incontrovertible body of work to which I've seen no one even come close to replicating, let alone like 10% of it. Right. So like, what am I supposed to think? If someone's like, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing with this dog. It's like, but you don't know what you're doing with anything. What are you talking about? And look
Yeah.
what I do all the time. So like
Yeah.
that
And
to me
when I
that would
say like what's funny about like that is actually lack of ego is like ego in the sense of like the id and the ego of the fragile ego of I don't care what other people or sorry, ego being I do care what other people think about me. So
yeah,
if you had ego attached to your own social status and identity, you'd feel a little bit hesitant to have those interactions. So like anyway, that like
no,
not
I
to
know what you
get
mean.
too deep into that, but I think that's kind of the ironic part sometimes is a certain level of detachment allow and it's something that like I can't do. But like that level of detachment is actually like that is why it's impressive to me in that sense of like, oh, that's actually it's a difficult cognitive challenge to be able to sort of detach from identity and just go, I'm just talking about this thing and can say things about myself that are both very negative and very positive, depending on the context.
Right.
Um, because it's just about the goal or the dogs, right? Like in this case, like the object is very, very obviously the dogs. But anyway, like that is actually a kind of a lot of um cognitive flexibility that's actually very difficult to sort of achieve and maintain. But anyway, that's yeah,
For me,
like it's interesting to me.
it's just X's and O's. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like what do we? It's like, who do I know is better than me? This person, this person. Okay, who do I know has absolutely no idea what they're talking about based on all of the evidence that I have? It's like, okay, and what do I know about my ability? I know this. Then okay, then yeah, you have no idea what I'm doing, and I want to be proven wrong. I have found exactly zero takers on that. So when it comes to last, we can make this the last thing about like this sort of like shitposty community bullshit, and we can actually get back to the dogs and the programming and stuff. But that's the thing when people are like, "We're coming from you for you. You're gonna be humbled. You're gonna be humbled." What they actually mean is the social network community is
correct.
going to find a way to ruin my life.
Yeah, yeah,
That is what they are praying for. They're not talking about dog training. I am humbled by the dogs on a regular basis, and I actively seek that experience. When I say that I am trying to find the most bizarre, dangerous, challenging dogs that live in the most suboptimal environments, I'm doing it for that reason. It's because I'm trying to have the dogs destroy me so that I have to reevaluate what I'm doing. That's I promise you there's no between me like in the dog training there's zero ego. I'm like I don't and I don't even like saying it because it comes off and I don't mean to be mean. It comes off as if I care about what any of you think about the matter.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
No,
don't.
100%. No, I get it. It's
I'm just talking about it and
yeah.
I don't like okay.
Like that's what I'm trying to say. That's like very difficult to verbalize is like the fact that you can just talk about it is unique because of that level of detachment of the craft versus the social
But
sort of
what does that
attachments
mean?
tied to it.
To circle it back to like behavioral modification and taking on dogs and trying to get into it, what does that mean? It means that you have to acknowledge going in this could be a total failure and you have to be ready to make peace with it. And that's I'm not saying that I can just do that at the drop of a hat, but like I really do. When I say I don't know what's going to happen with Remy, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. So if someone says you're going to make this dog worse, I say we'll see. Because I'm pretty sure you're wrong, but I can't be positive. This could be a total waste of time. It could blow up in my face. But then in 3 weeks, when that person's the dog's playing with people, I can be like, yeah, well, obviously you're fucking retarded. right? And it doesn't mean the program's over, but like I didn't make the dog worse. It got way better. Um, and like Remy is better, but it's not good. It's not sustainable. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not something
Yeah,
I would be
sustainable
happy
is the
about.
key word there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I guess it's really you're going to be humbled is has nothing to do with dogs. Like it just is totally it is totally we're going to get the board at the IACP to put out a like a pirate bounty. Whoever can kill Dylan gets a speaking arrangement and gets to go on Michael Shikashio's cruise for 2 trips or something like that. It's going to be something like that. And that doesn't humble me because I don't care. Because you're all children. None of you care about training dogs. Why would I care? Um, so it truly is when it comes to like being humble. It's about the dogs and knowing what you are capable of. Right now, I am saying I've never had a dog like Remy before. So I don't know what's going to happen. I have plans, like I have things that I want to do, and then if that fails, I will ask people for help. That's what I do. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, and I don't publicly talk about it because I don't in that way because I don't want to look like I'm trying to be like a man of the people. Like I don't care. But that's
Mhm.
just how I am. That's just how I am with the dog training. So so when Remy looks at me is like, dude, this is like I can't. Like I understand. My plans cease to matter. They don't even exist anymore.
Yep.
My thought that we were gonna do drills in front of this dog, no, it's gone. She is saying something else. She needs me to be someone else.
Yep.
Um, that's just that's how it has to be. I don't know. That's we can go into like. Do you want to respond to any of that? Because I can go into like what I want to do, and I want to ask what you would do.
I think I maybe just like cut you off on the community stuff a little bit, but
Well, no,
I guess
it's just so fucking stupid, dude, and I think it's so
yeah.
boring. Like I don't even know if anyone's gonna want
I
to
was
listen to
like,
that.
oh, we did cover it. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so fucking boring. Like, and people are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I
dude,
like it is funny to even like that's why even like the way I talk about it is always a little bit like I don't know, I'm trying to be like, okay, let's like psychoanalyze this a little bit because that at least makes it more interesting. But like
right,
strip
right,
it all
right.
away to the complete pragmatic roots of it.
No,
And it's just like, guys,
at
just
that no,
oh
at that level, you get me a little
yeah.
bit where it's like how it's like okay, you're like a 35-year-old man with a healthy brain, hypothetically, right? How are you able to say those things with the knowledge that you have with reality sitting in front of you? How like how could you act like a petulant child and accuse other people of being immature? Like how do you square that in your brain while you're doing that? Like I can't. And then when you walk away after doing that, how do you feel? Like are you torn and conflicted like cognitive like you're battling the cognitive dissonance? It's like actually I know I'm a fucking retard. I shouldn't be doing that. Or were you able to sort of like melt your brain to the point where it's just like Play-Doh and you could just make anything real? That sounds fun. Like I can just anything's real. Anything's real. That's
I know.
awesome.
I know. I
That
wish I
that
had
part
less self-awareness sometimes.
that part's funny. That part's funny. Um,
No, it is. It is. But yeah, like from the standpoint of like, all right, guys, are we like done with this yet? It does get
are we
very
dog trainers?
frustrating.
And then they will be like focus on the dogs. I'm like, whoa, like how 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 are you saying that to me? How are you saying that to me? What? Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's crazy. Anyways, okay.
Anyway. But yeah.
So dude, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
anyways, but back to the reaction from people about Remy sort of like bodying me yesterday. No, guys, it's totally cool. Like that is
Yeah. That is
you
normal.
should be
We're
cool.
working with
You go
animals.
out
Yep.
and yeah, so yes, working with animals, it's not always linear.
No.
You will have times where you bring a dog out and it's like, wow, he's acting scared again. And it's been
Hmm.
a week
And
since
back
I've
to
seen him.
the yep, back to the like deadlines and programs. I think that's another one that this assumed linearity is again really unfortunate that we are kind of stuck in the box of economics. But like there's definitely times where it's like I've gotten to the end of a program and I'm like, dude, this dog just needs like a week to sleep and then get
Uh-huh.
back at it. But like I don't know, I don't have time to do that kind of thing. So ends up being frustrating. But like there's definitely times where you can tell that the dog is needing a little bit of a break, or we need to like speed up, slow down, turn another direction. And people get surprised by that. Or like even we were talking about in a previous podcast where it's like you could bring a dog out expecting to work, like having training plans where you have a plan in your head that's like, oh, this is the thing I want to work on, and the dog shows up and is like, no, we're not even close to doing that today, and like
Hmm.
it's totally normal. Like don't let that freak you out. Like that's
Yeah.
it's kind of how it's supposed to be. um
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, sorry, cut you off again.
And no, well, no, and I mean, even when dogs go home, like guys, like there's problem. You have spontaneous recovery. You've got all these things. So there, if a dog especially had been doing a particular thing for like fucking years potentially, when you when you crunch that down or uncrunch those numbers into a human lifespan, it's like if you have someone that's been doing something for fucking 30 years and they're 40 or something, and it's like, yeah, we're actually just going to stop you from doing this entirely with no traces in 3 weeks. That doesn't make
Yep.
any sense.
All of the cognitive habits we were talking about 10 minutes ago. Imagine imagine changing all
Right.
of that in
You're gonna
3 weeks.
untangle that in an animal in 3 weeks, and typically they've had like unfettered reinforcement access to whatever thing that they're doing. You could literally be chasing squirrels, dude. Like it doesn't even have
Yep.
to be crazy behaviors. Any
Yep.
any of
But
this
literally
goes
just
for regular
not
training.
listening to the humans in
Oh my
their
God,
environment. Like
yes.
literally, like
Yes.
the amount of stress that it is on a dog to switch from, like I've seen this in dogs that are just like under socialized or kept in kennels and then bought as like older dogs or whatever, where you can tell they just don't understand that the words coming out of a human's mouth matter to them. Like that is
Irrelevant.
not a salient
Yes.
cue. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And you need to like build that from the ground up. That is
Yep.
fucking work. So,
Right. And that is cognitive load on an
yes,
animal, right?
huge. Yes.
And
That is their
you
entire worldview that you're shifting
you
with like
touched
zero bad habits, just them being completely like just
right.
feral.
Right.
Yeah.
And you touched earlier on the concept of a dog that had just never had authority imposed on him.
Yep.
Some dogs have a short-term like bad reaction to that.
100%.
And I'm not
Like it
uh,
does kind of crush their ego a little bit.
right,
Like they are
right,
used to being the big dog on campus, and it is kind of
right,
reordering their
right.
worldview a little bit. So, I mean, it's actually is a huge um sort of myth in like bite sports, or that like kind of working dog arena where people would tell you, and I think it still exists, which is kind of wild to me, but they would tell you like never let your dog get corrected by another dog, or never tell your puppy no, like that kind of stuff, because it's like, oh, they need to think that they own the world.
Mhm.
And it's just so crazy to me, because then I'm like, okay, you've let this animal grow up. It's literally a kid that you've never told no. And the first time they're getting told no is by something in the external world. And now they have no coping mechanism for that. So it's like
Yeah.
you actually see a lot of dogs like that that have just had this fake impression, or like they've built their psyche on this completely fake idea or reality, right? And then they're faced with actual reality, and it's pretty it's pretty disruptive to their um like I'm using like very anthropomorphic words, so I'm kind of like stuttering a little bit, but like it is very jarring to their identity to have to sort of rework that. And that again takes time. Like you can't rush that process. um
Everything you just said is real.
yeah.
And when you know, like it just is real to the point where I actually think like you're using a lot of heavy language, but I still like you can go further. I think you and it can be just a fucking dumbass 2-year-old fucking poodle or something. Like when you finally say like, hey, by the way, like the things that people say, their wishes, they not only do they matter, but they supersede any thought you could ever have. that can, I think, make a dog reevaluate his place in the world generally.
1,000%.
Like
Yeah, and,
it,
like, I don't
I've
think
been living a
like, the
fake
reason
life.
I'm, like, careful about my language is, like, okay, obviously, they don't process it that way, but, like,
Right.
100% that's what is going on, in terms of the
In terms
actual
in terms of
presentation of their
experience,
behavior. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
In terms of like their lived experience, um, they now have to walk around with a different understanding,
100%.
and
You
that
just took a very core concept in the dog's mind, shattered it, and now they're
right.
having to rebuild.
And
That's extreme.
constructively,
Yes.
this is a very good thing, and this needs to happen.
Yes,
Um,
yes, but
but
it is
when you
not,
put it with the deadline thing, it's like
frivolous.
maybe that dog does need a few days to be like, okay, I get it. Like this is cool. It's fine. Like this is cool. Um, and that can just happen with like normal dogs, let alone dogs that have behavioral issues. So yeah, my strong recommendation when it comes to trying to push yourself with dogs that you're like, hey, maybe this dog is too much for me, is to maybe try to take it in sort of like a project context. And don't do a normal payment. Like I'm in a position. Shout out to the Patreon maniacs, but like my Patreon makes me enough money comfortably that I can help people that can't afford help, and I can also take on dogs that have nowhere else to go. Where I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. That like the Patreon actually just allows me, and I totally recognize that as like an insane advantage. Um, but you can do that in a more low key setting too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a
Like, even
straight
just
normally
taking a foster train with no
right
time constraints, and even if
expectations.
you're not, yeah, like, even
No
if you're
time
not the type of
constraints,
person
no
who's gonna take you 6
expectations.
months.
Yep.
Yep,
And you're straight up with the people where you're like, yo, listen, I can guarantee you he's gonna have a great time with me.
yep, yep.
He's not gonna get worse, to the best of my knowledge.
Right, right.
But I cannot tell you he's gonna come home and never fucking express his anal glands when he hears a car engine start again. Or whatever weird, crazy things going on. But I'm telling you that the project mindset is extremely fun. When you can logistically make it happen, it is extremely fun. And not only that, when you look at like just general board and train lifestyle for you, the trainer, um, like today with Remy, there's a little bit of a time crunch where I don't know if because now we're doing the podcast. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get her out before I have other shit going on. It's like actually that's fine. We could do a little something later. Like we can have a day where we don't get a full training outing. Like that's fine. It makes everything feel, and you also get to experiment with the effect of days off on
Correct.
dogs.
Yes.
That is
I think it's
another
actually
huge
very
one.
necessary.
That
Yep.
is a fucking huge one, guys. Like you would be stunned. You would be fucking floored. Like a dog that has a really sticky out, you have a good session where you work on it and you don't play for like 3 days and then you go back out to play possession and the out is insane. Like the latent learning thing, it's crazy to be able to experiment with it. And it's also, by the way, like not to go off on this for too long, it's also more realistic to dog owners who are not going to be playing with their dog and training their dog every day. So, like a dog like Remy, one of her end game challenges would be we have a full day where we maybe hang around the house and don't do anything. And then the next day with no pregame, I'm going to put you on a leash and we're going to go walk and there's going to be dogs out there. Like I want to see what you're going to do at your peak frustration. Um, and you can do that when you have flexible scheduling or you're doing like a free project type deal. Um, and I think that you need to like you just need to do it. That's I would say make arrangements so that you can do this type of thing. You get so much better, so much faster. Um, so as to what I want to do with Remy, like what I know needs to be done. Well, what do you think I'm thinking? Because there's one like obvious. It's not a general thing. There's like one to me. I shouldn't say obvious. There's one thing that is identifiable. It's not like a broad concept. It's not like authority. It's not like that. It's like it's an exercise. There's an
Hmm.
exercise that I need to do that I have filtered with or failed crash and burn awful training session where I fucked everything up. I filtered it out.
I mean, okay, I was just gonna like ramble off a couple thoughts, but like I don't think I'd necessarily even like change a ton. I just would be not making the huge leap in criteria to a dog playing in front of her and
Yeah.
then asking for de-escalation there.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess like if I'm trying to pick on a very specific concept that you like, it would be like the conditioned punisher and just building that a little bit more
No, that
outside
is full
of
throttle. That's full throttle. I could stop her from anything.
yeah.
The condition punisher right now
Okay.
is one of the most exquisite that I've ever installed. If I
Okay,
do
but
say
like
so myself.
it didn't work in front of the dog plane.
It did.
Is all
It
it did.
mechanically stopped her.
Mechanically. Okay, okay, okay.
She just can't.
Okay.
And
Well
she
then,
she wasn't defying. She was out of
right,
control.
right. She just like actually
So
couldn't. Yeah,
she
yeah,
submitted to it, but could not. It's like someone with like a shaky hand. It's like dude,
yeah,
I
yeah.
promise
I
you, I'm
mean,
trying to
yeah,
hold.
like yeah. I think then I just kind of want to say like go a little bit more slowly, but that feels like not what you're looking for. So I
No.
don't know.
Too
What?
slow. No, there's a big one right there. So let's look at we're about to take a trip into my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. How I will narrow things down. And this is one of the best things. I mean, it's one of the things about having a failure of an outing that actually can salvage it and can inform, hey, here's some things you should test going forward. And I can't be sure that I'm 100% on this, but it is I should do this. I suspect if you take a look at where she's at now, where like being out on a walk, she's now substantially better without dogs. Her baseline is it's not great, but it's substantially better. She's not by default the whole time, right? Um, I am able to have her out with dogs walking over there and rein her in and have her let it go after. Like, okay, she's not looking over her shoulder the whole time. Again, it's not gorgeous, but there's been big, obvious movement on that front, right?
Yeah.
The thing that made the entire uh, morning blow up in my face and make me look awful in front of my new friends was the dog playing.
Yeah.
The dog playing.
Yeah.
So how can I filter that down even more? I can have her know the dog that's playing,
Okay.
and it can happen in my living room.
Okay. When I say lower criteria and slow down,
But
this is
that's not enough. That's not enough.
okay.
That's like that can be
I just
fucking
have to
that's
defend
true.
myself because you're
That's
being
what it is. That's what it is. But it's not even
okay.
it's not just lowering criteria, it's isolating variables.
No, okay, okay, fair, fair.
Like
Yeah.
very hardcore isolating that concept of there's a dog in front of you playing and absolutely lowering the criteria because we're taking the environment and we're putting it into a place where we chill. And we're taking the dog and we're having it be a dog that you know and you've played with. And it's happening just like it's going to be more so an organic, natural, we slide into it versus the hard on and off of we
Yeah.
walk from around the corner
Huge
and the dog's
novelty.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are hardcore isolating that concept of a dog in arousal in front of you and you can't do anything about it. The thought is that hopefully this makes it irritating enough to her where we are touching that section of her brain, but it's not so overwhelming that I can work with you there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
now if I tell you, dude, shut up,
Yep.
maybe there's enough clarity for her to be like, and then while we're in my own home, maybe I can give her a chew bone. Be like, just go do that. You can't leave the bed, but just like do that, right? That if I had offered her a sirloin steak 2 days ago or whatever it was, she may have actually scarfed it down while reacting. I'm not even joking.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
100%.
And
Yeah.
like then
Doesn't
then
change
she would,
anything.
it would have changed nothing, right?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like we could potentially spend quite a bit of time there, which for me, quite a bit of time is like 3 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, maybe we do like two
Well,
or
and they're making
three.
it progressively more challenging
Mhm.
via then bringing in those variables that made it very
Yes.
challenging.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So
Like that could
now
be several sessions.
100%. You can be at the control panel, the
Yeah.
dials and the freaking. I looked like I was giving someone a purple nurple. Um, but uh then what can we do from there? Say that we started with maybe I pregame played with her to kind of take the edge off. I've got Scout in the living room with me. I'm gonna put Remy up on a bed and tell her to down, and then I'm gonna start playing with Scout. The things that we can fuck with, we can do less pre-gaming. We can do longer rounds where I'm going to be playing with Scout, but I think that probably a really, really big one would be to build up to would be in the morning. I take Remy out to potty. I immediately put her back in the crate. I set up the living room like it's going to be our thing, right? And then knowing she doesn't have to potty, she did her morning thing. I would bring her out of the crate on leash straight past the toy and Scout, put her on the bed, and then I would start playing with Scout. I can guarantee you I'm gonna have to get on her that time. Because like the change, the surprise that, oh, we're doing that, you know. Um I mean I could go fucking crazy. I could have helpers come. Like and that would be probably the next thing is that not probably definitely we would change dogs and now we're outside. But if we hit a snag where it's like, whoa, this is way too much, I would have her meet the dog ahead of time again,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then we would do it.
Do you think that makes that big of a difference for her?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I would try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to me, that like isn't the variable that jumps out at me.
It could be nothing, but I would try.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I was just curious what the thought process was behind that.
Mhm.
Because to me, like I think like in my mind, it's kind of not reflexive. I mean a little bit, I guess. But very difficult regardless, for a dog like her to just see another dog having fun and her not joining in. Like to me, it's the
Yeah,
like
not social.
frustration of yeah,
No,
yeah.
you know what it is. You're actually making me think of something. I didn't mean to sound surprised by saying that. I wonder if her being familiar with a dog's play behaviors helps though.
Oh, yeah,
So it's not social.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
I've had experience seeing how you play ball and how you
yeah,
play tug.
yeah. That I could see. Yeah,
So with Scout, she would still be ideal because she has extensively seen Scout play.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
partaken in it, and I've played with Scout while Remy was there, and we've played all together.
Right, right.
Um, so that
Why
that could be.
use yeah? Why use a down instead of just like mm, yeah? Why have her in obedience versus now? What's the thought process behind that?
Because she's gonna run over and try to stay. I could
Why
back
not
tire.
just
I could back
stop?
tire.
But why not just like stop her from joining in play with Scout and tell her like, hey, you have to go find something else to do?
It's just not clear enough for me.
Okay, okay,
But I
interesting.
could just back tire.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
may
Because
that may actually be better. I think that if
yeah,
I no, that's a good idea. If I hit a snag on the bed or whatever,
yeah,
I'll just switch to a back tie and not tell her to sit her down on
yeah.
it. You
Because
can,
this is a little bit into another topic, but it's always been a little bit unclear to me whether or not dogs can actually process it. Is let's say you put Remy in a down, um, and you're playing with Scout and she starts whining but holds the
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
don't think you can
I would get
punish
on her.
that clearly.
I would get
You
on her.
would.
Yeah,
You would.
we don't
And you
down
think
like
she'd
that.
understand.
Yeah, we don't down like that. Well, I would break her off the down.
Yeah. Interesting.
step her off,
Okay.
stop. Then I would bring her back in. If you
Yeah.
now, if you
It's
were to,
been a while since I've played with that concept, but what I've gone to recently is and by recently I mean in the past couple of years, so it's been a while since I've revisited it, and I'm sure I was doing it poorly before, but I forced the dog into the mistake of breaking the down, punish the
yeah,
mistake of breaking the down, and then in order to not break the down, you must self-regulate better. Therefore, it will get rid of the noise.
no, that'll get you there too. I do that shit,
Yeah, yeah.
and sometimes I'll wait.
I think I've just seen like really bad examples of trying to correct
Well,
vocalization in sport context, and
well,
it
one of the
just
two
leaves me very
times,
like hesitant about trying to do it that way.
one of the two times that I got on Remy on the failed expedition, I
Mhm.
waited for her to get up and start moving towards the dog
Yeah, yeah,
because I wanted to have like an obvious, like a very clear,
yeah. You
you know.
broke the
And that
commands. Yeah.
after that one, that was the one where she was like, dude, I can't, like, I actually cannot stop. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
well, okay, she could physically stop. Getting a dog to physically stop is
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
we already
Yes.
talked
She's
about this.
fucking 30-pound dog. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But to actually mentally change. Yeah.
Mentally happening, yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. But I bet, no, I would bet my life, okay. I would bet my life the bad examples that you've seen of that have actually been reinforcement.
1,000%. Yeah.
Um,
1,000%.
so yeah, the dogs are just like, I can't down harder than this,
Correct. Yeah.
and they keep screaming louder.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
think
like,
probably too, there's also a lot of dogs that if you were to attempt to punish the vocalization and the down, they literally just are not capable of not like
oh yeah, yeah.
exactly what we're talking about with Remy. Like that is unfortunately
I also want to
most dogs
mention
do not
too,
have the level of clarity to understand
right.
that as a effective punishment event.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I also I want to mention too, in a way to help her, I intend on doing breaks where I switch dogs and I play with her. And Scout
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
down.
that's hugely important.
So
Yeah.
she can vent it out.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because that's the
I
other
wanna
thing when you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put her into a down." I'm just like, "What?"
yeah, yeah. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait, like I'm gonna let her get agitated,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Maybe even informally tell her, yo, knock it off,
yeah,
right? See if she gives me a little bit of like, okay, okay. Play with Scout for another 15 seconds and then switch. And I'll be increasing the time that I ask for her to just chill before I switch, that she has to wait to play, basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the idea would be that, I could eventually do a full 5-minute play run with Scout with her in the down without having to go, without giving her the help of playing.
yeah. I actually will be curious how this all goes because I think there's a lot of points. Like I know you'll be able to do it and it'll be fine, but there's a lot of points to where people can and do mess this up with ending up creating the down that Remy's in is now okay. I'm gonna just sit there in anticipation because I
okay,
know that
so
Dylan's gonna play with me after Scott. Do you know what I mean? Like there's
check this
definitely a lot
out.
of pitfalls. Yeah.
So check this out, okay? Check this out. I posted an exquisite. Well, actually, I don't even have to tell you. You commented on it. You said it was perfect. You said
Yeah.
perfect, Dylan. Perfect. Just beautiful, Dylan. Something like that, right?
Little emojis. Yes.
Right. With the first time we dealt with the dog reaction, like a dog in public, which was, by the
Yeah.
way, absurdly effective because she still does not go off crazy like before if there's just a dog. So we've narrowed it down to the play thing. The dog in motion and in drive is a serious problem. But the thing that I did was I got that serious, deep, clear acknowledgement and calm before I released her to go say hi to Harvey. That would be what I would demand before I would even think about we're going to play now. I would never go, and I think what you're talking about is people would fuck that up where the dog would be in
100%.
like that
Yes.
anticipatory, like my turn, my turn, my turn, and they would go
Yeah.
reinforce that.
And then they try to, and then
Which,
now they're
by the
trying to
way,
punish something that
to
they're actually
build
reinforcing 2 seconds later. Yeah.
to build play, that's actually kind of a funny idea. Like if you're
Oh,
trying to get
for
a
like
dog to
using
play.
frustration. Oh,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Like,
Is
actually, no, you
literally
have
the
to
idea
down.
behind
And
puppy circles.
right.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually gonna play with him over here, and you have to lay down, you fucking loser. I want to go. I want
Yeah,
to go.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you wait for the dog to bark, and then you go feed him.
Yeah.
Not
No,
feed him, but
literally
the
like
bite.
very old school like European style developing puppies for bite work because they're literally just tied out to the fence posts while all the older dogs are doing bite work.
Oh,
Like that's
cool.
their development.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's
sick.
just like fucking ramp up, and then every once in a while it's like, okay, cool, I'll go give you a bite or
Oh, that's cool.
whatever.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
I took the short bus way to get there.
Well, you're trying to do the opposite, to be fair, as well, just to be very clear with things.
Yeah,
But
but I to get play.
actually, sorry, like
Um,
complete side note, like with dogs like Blue or Inga, that's where I think I've told you before, it would be really interesting to try to use frustration a little bit more with them.
mhm, yeah,
Um, because that's
100%.
definitely something that like sport mind is immediately like, okay, of course, like get the dog into a state of arousal through frustration and then allow them
Well,
to vent it onto the toy and then take that. But
Remy
it's not
almost
something
killed one
that
of my
like
kids last night. She almost killed one of my
yeah.
kids last night. Not in
Oh
the way
no.
that you would think, but
Yeah, yeah.
they play ball with her a lot. But I got some frisbees. I did a toy haul, and she's playing, like a funny little lower key possession with my 4-year old. But what he did at one point was he told her to drop it. She dropped it. And then he ran up and jumped onto the couch. So he's standing on top of the couch and she's under the back of the couch like a wall. And and she's tiny. And he's putting the frisbee down and pulling it back. And she's jumping onto like trying to jump over the couch to get
Wall
the
climb.
frisbee.
Yeah.
She finally hit it and then like went crazy. And if he didn't drop it, he would have went flying.
For sure.
But
Just right
that
goal.
was I was watching. I was like, that's a crazy frustration exercise. Like over
Yeah.
the fence, like get it, and then finally she got it and was like, and and he and it was one of those authentic moments where the dog actually won. It wasn't a pretend. Like
Yeah, he literally couldn't hang on.
she actually was just too fast.
Yeah.
But I was like, man,
He had to
that's a
fight for his life.
crazy. Yeah, but that's a
Yeah.
crazy agitation. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
so yeah, we're trying to
Yeah,
do the
people
opposite,
accidentally do that when they
right?
are asking for calm all the
But
time. Yeah.
that's kind of it's interesting how how people can go so wrong. It's kind of similar with like the two-line thing.
Mhm.
People will see the surface level setup
Yes.
and
And think that's the magic.
somehow
Yeah.
create the exact opposite intended effect. Um
Yeah.
or have it just go totally sideways and then be like, what happened,
Yeah.
dude? I stepped away. It's like, okay. Like
Yeah.
what
Oh, but
happened?
I've done
I
that
put her
before.
in
We've
down.
tried it. Have you? Have you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, but I put her in a down and I made her wait until she could play, and you created a fucking monster. That's
Yes.
now keying in
Yes.
harder on dogs playing.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it could like it done poorly. That could actually be a fucking catastrophe.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I didn't
But
even
again,
think of
like
that.
that's the interesting part of the nuance of again, like being able to actually read the emotional state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is like that's what
Right.
makes the difference, not the setup of because like in my head, even you talking about it, I'm like, oh, this is a recipe for disaster. Um, because I'm picturing like sort of a normal person doing like if I were to coach a client, like imagine coaching a client to do something like that,
Oh,
you would
never,
never, you know what I
never,
mean?
never, never.
So like it's funny, it's a little bit sad that my reflex is like, oh my God, it's a disaster. Because like of course it can be done. Like I
Yeah.
do similar shit all the time, but I'm like,
I wouldn't even tell a
the
dog trainer to do this.
no.
No.
Yeah, like there's
But
definitely yeah.
it's the okay, so hypothetically, let's say I set this up the way that I wanted, and she gives me that look from the other day where she's like, dude, I can't do this. Then we time out. It's over. Like it's gone. And now I look back at it and I say, how can I make this easier?
Yep. Isolate
Right.
a different
I
variable. Yeah.
can I can play instead of playing tug, maybe I play a light fetch with Scout. maybe we play tug, but a much more lower tilt.
Yep.
Like it's not a
Maybe you literally
crazy.
just make her bark at you for a little bit. It's not even a toy
Yes,
involved. It's just
one
energy.
hundred percent. Like I can just tell her to bark. That's actually a really fucking good one. I wouldn't have thought of that. That is a very good one. Instead of having the dog,
That's my go-to with my dog that knows a bark and holds
uh-huh,
when he's a reactive dog client. Like
yeah,
distraction dog is just make him
make him
bark at
bark.
me.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a really good one. So like you're whittling down. It's like, okay, before the dog was vocalizing and physically moving. Now we remove the physical movement and we make it just the vocal. Um, or again, you could do it the opposite way where it's you're playing so low key, the dog isn't being as vocally expressive. So you can do it both ways.
Yep.
You could
So now
also
it's
do
the
a
prey item, but not the
right.
energy level.
You
Yeah.
could also make it so that Remy was the first dog that played, and maybe she gets to keep her toy, and I play with Scout with a different toy, and maybe she can be up there chewing it a little bit when she gets mad. Like you can do a lot to make this easier, and
Yeah.
I
Because I think
wouldn't
like just to
hesitate to.
yeah, yeah, like just to give people a couple like different ideas because when it's like, oh, I would give a dog trainer this advice, like, okay, what are something like what would I give people advice to do potentially in order to facilitate this a little bit better? I think like how do we make this a little less prone to getting stuck in these reinforcement loops, yada yada. Um a go-to for me is, and like this is what I do for my dogs with bite work to teach them like, hey, your turn's over. You need to just go get a drink and go potty, even though you know there's another dog coming on the field. Is literally just, hey, I've burned you out with the session. Like you're satiated with your session of bite work, session of play, whatever. And I'm gonna go take you over, bowl of water, drop your toy, just like all done, back to calm. And then another dog is starting to come out in the distance, play a little bit. You want to look at that AA, like just a little bit of interruption. Hey, go back to your decompression. It is an actual cool down. You're ending up in the crate. There is no hope of excitement and there's no hope of going back to the field. So like something clear like that, where it's like removing, just isolating that variable is, hey, I can get you to be calm, and that's just where we end it. I think
Right.
is like a little less open to um a difficulty. Like I don't know, maybe it is harder. Like even as I'm describing it, I'm like, actually, there's a lot of ways this could go wrong
There's a
too.
lot
Now,
of ways you could fuck that up too. Yeah.
because now you're just like restraining the dog instead of
Uh,
interrupting and making
that
it
can
friendly.
go
Yeah,
very
yeah, I
badly.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
But
actually, as I'm
but
talking about this, I'm like, well, maybe these aren't great ideas. But
so here's but even on that, okay. So if
yeah,
we're
yeah,
if we're going back to being honest with yourself,
yeah.
true actual dog training humility, where you can say, I've never dealt with this before. I have an idea of what I'm capable of, and I have some ideas of what I would want to do with this dog, but I don't know what's going to happen. If you're honest with the people involved, whatever transaction or deal is going on, it's okay to
Mhm.
fuck up. It is okay. It's fine as long as you're trying to fucking figure it out after. Like this paralysis that I see people have where they just will not try anything. I'm like, dude, well, what do you like? I don't. It comes. I do think it comes from the top down
It does 1,000%. Yeah.
with the quote unquote authorities that that I keep referring to them like they're like the shadow government or something. But like they're like the
Well, it is
ones
it is
that
culture that's created from this, and again, like I'm gonna blame like marketing as well, that
yeah,
dog training gets sold on this idea of, hey, we can fix your dog and you'll never, like, we're solving your problem
right.
of having this dog who's causing you a headache, instead of coming at it from the standpoint of like more like therapy, where it's like, hey, we're gonna help you work through these problems, but like your dog is still an animal. Like
But you
I
can
don't know.
also
I think we've lost
you
sight
can
of why people own dogs too. But anyway, that's
right.
that's a
But
whole
I
nother
do
rabbit
I
hole.
do think it needs to be in rational doses because
Yeah,
if
yeah.
someone has like the average reactivity case, just speaking facts. I can resolve that unconsciously. I can sleepwalk through that program. And I can be honest with people about that. But there is that element underpinning all of it that something could happen that I wasn't like I didn't see coming. And like this could we could be in like a state of flux at that point. And like we have to talk about so you can be honest about what you can accomplish while also on the realism level knowing like you said we're working with animals. And a lot of the times there's shit going on the client doesn't even understand. Like they called you because they don't understand. So there's going to be shit that they didn't pick up and they didn't know, and it's more serious, or it's usually less serious. But sometimes things are more serious, and you have to be like, "Yo, dude, I know that I'm really good at dealing with this issue, but this particular one is a little bit different, and we need to talk about realistic expectations." It's totally fine. That's not hypocrisy. Um, but even when I'm extremely confident, so okay, you can look at Ollie, that my last human aggression case. The guy came to me because, like most people that come to me, they saw my videos, right? He saw my videos and was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. I didn't even know this was possible. And I said to him, I am really, really, really good at this, but I cannot tell you what the outcome is going to be. I can tell you that I'm probably, not probably, I'm definitely one of the best chances your dog has. But even then, like even the people that I would refer to as higher authorities than me on this, I couldn't even guarantee what they would be able to do. And they would tell you the same, right? So you can be honest about your capabilities, but be honest about the fact that we're dealing with the behavior of animals. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like it is frustrating that like um there have been these expectations set up of the dog training industry. Because like you go to a doctor and they're like, oh, you have this, I don't know, this fucking rash. Here's a cream that might help, but like it might be yeast, it might be bacterial. Like, oh, we have
Yeah.
to do this further diagnostic. And like even a doctor where it's like, this is supposed to be, you know, a little bit more cut and dry. Like we have all the
Right.
science, yada, yada. And it's like, even then, they have like a prognosis if you
Right.
have a certain disorder, whatever. And that's just accepted as like, okay, we're going to have this back and forth discussion because it's a biological system and we can't make guarantees. But that just is not accepted in the dog world where it's like, and I don't know, I kind of, as you're, I forgot exactly what it was you said that made me think of it, but I also think
Well,
maybe that's the difference is that a doctor is like, oh, I do actually have the confidence to
right.
say, I've heard of these things. I know different pathways. I
Uh-huh.
think there also are a lot of, it's again the difference between the humility of like, oh, I had a bad outing and we need to go back and get go back to the drawing board and change some variables, yada yada. But having the confidence that you'll be able to actually take a path forward and do that. I think people are afraid to try things because they literally are like, if I break this, I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And can't
Yeah.
really recover
I get
from
that.
those mistakes. And that's where, yeah, it's
I
just,
I get that. So
yeah, go ahead.
a couple things to respond to that. So
Yeah.
dogs are not, contrary to what the force-free advocates and the reactivity industrial complex would have you believe, dogs are not made out of paper.
Yeah.
You can go out and mess up and have a bad outing. We had an extremely bad outing where all of Remy's horrible behaviors were reinforced. And I don't even think of it because it's just like, yeah, okay, it was a bad day. It's okay. She's been doing this for fucking ever, dude. Like, what's one more in the pursuit of fixing it, we failed, and we just keep trying. It's okay. Now, if you were to put that just like I'm just going to keep doing that without thinking or without changing because my mentor said to, or I saw it in a YouTube video, but I know deep down it's wrong, and I'm still just bashing the dog's head against a concrete wall. Yeah, then maybe you're going to run into some fucking problems. But like what you said. Oh my god, I've got this lady with a dog. The dog, is it pronounced Leonberger? The dog, the breed.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
They're big. They're big. This lady got
Yeah,
her
big fluffy
shoulder.
dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, this lady got her shoulder totally shattered,
Oh
like
man.
blood streaks of blood across the pavement when her dog went crazy at another dog or something like
Oh,
that. but she hired a trainer that was like, I've got this class. It's a money back guarantee, uh, however many session reactivity fix, and it's just like it just I have never failed. Like this guy's actually
Wow.
just like saying this to her. So needless to say, at the end, she's asking for her money back. Um, and the guy went nuts. It's like, you've ruined my life. This is how you've tarnished my business. I use this to buy my kids food. Like, went fucking ballistic, right? And by the way, so I'm taking this lady on more than likely because of the crazy story and because of how badly she was injured. Even though the dog doesn't have behavioral issues, it just pulls on leash when it sees dogs. But I'm actually worried this lady's gonna get fucking killed. But one of the things, just like as the funny part of this, so one of the steps in this guy's program was journaling. So like before you go out on walks, you're supposed to journal about your fears and like all that type of thing.
Oh
Just
God.
crazy shit. Um, so when someone tells me a story like that, like the chances of me taking them on, even if the dog's not that interesting, they go much higher. Like, okay, this is actually really funny. Anyways, not the lady getting hurt. It's actually very simple. But anyways, yeah, it's it's astonishing. Like a guy like that would say, I've never run into a problem. It's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, that's insane. Like, are your clients just never asking for their money back? Like, how does that happen? I
Well, you
don't
can you
actually
can tell
understand.
the guy's reaction. You can tell there's an emotional pressure and emotional manipulation going on where people don't want to say bad things.
For
Um,
sure.
which the amount of trainers that get by on that with good reviews just because they become friends with the client makes me
Dude,
nauseous.
that's insane. Yeah.
Um, like I genuinely think that Michael Shikashio, him being a quote unquote good guy, is the only reason he's relevant.
1,000%.
I think everyone, including the people around him and himself, they know that this is like that he's fraudulent, he's terrible, but
Yep.
they feel bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I took Denise Fenzi to account,
Yep.
and the reaction that I got from even some of my followers, where they're like, well, Dylan, you shouldn't be saying that, and I just go, why? And they're like, she's friends with a lot of people.
Yep.
um, and I'm glad that again, like I'm glad that whole thing happened because I think I made a lot of people think
Yeah.
twice.
Yep.
Like question like why did I say that? I got some messages from people that were really interesting. They were like, yeah, I never thought she would say something like that, and I guess I was just like rose tinted glasses or whatever. But it's because she's nice. Um, she's nice to
Well,
people.
she
It's
gives
like
the appearance of being nice.
right. So here's the problem. Here's the problem though. I just don't care. Like that's it. I like I'm a dog trainer, right? Like that is totally irrelevant to me.
Yep.
No
Again, it's
interest
two
in that.
totally separate things. I can hate someone's guts and agree that they're a good dog trainer. I can think
Correct.
someone's amazing and think that they're a shitty dog trainer.
Right,
It's two
right. I,
completely
I am I'm really
separate
I'm really
things.
not I say it as a joke, but like when I say not here to make friends, I do make friends, but that is not like my goal, right? It happens along the way when I interact with people that are really intense and dedicated and talented, and I love them. But it is very much a byproduct. So I'm not I'm not going around trying to make people think I'm a dog trainer by fact of that I'm nice to them.
Yep. It's not a
Has
popularity
no fucking
contest.
bearing on it whatsoever. Um, so yeah. Anyways, like the toxic positivity. Everyone's nice, everyone's doing their thing. It's like, but I kind of want to know what your thing is because this
Yeah.
seems really bad, and I actually think you're just a liar.
Yeah.
And I think I should be able to say that if you can't defend yourself. Um, anyways,
Anyway, how'd we get here? The Leonberger. Why'd you start
well,
talking about the Leonberger?
people like trainers not acknowledging that there's the potential of failure.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And
Like
then it
I
comes from
don't
the top. That's what you were starting to say. And then
Right,
I
right,
got you really
right.
off track. Yeah.
Like I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix Remy. I don't. Like I could be just totally out of my league, but that is the part of being the actual true humility, not the false humility where you're supposed to say that everyone's great, which is not true, right? The true humility, which is that I am dealing with an animal that's having a really hard time, and maybe this is beyond me. Remy genuinely could, like, I could end up sending her on her way, maybe better, but not I couldn't get it all the way done. And at that point, if people asked, hey, we were thinking about getting a second opinion, I'd be like, dude, go for it. See what happens. I would bet it would make her worse, but why not try? Like I'm not going to be like, no, they're going to abuse her. It's like, well, I don't know them. Like, go try it. Like that's what dog training humility is. So yeah, we'll find out. But it is going to start. Well, did you want to react to any of that? I think we're on the
Uh,
same page on that.
yeah, yeah, I
Seems
think that,
pretty
yeah,
like
pretty
normal
thorough.
moral compass. Like there's no, it shouldn't be confusing, I don't think. Um, so many of the people that will accuse others of having ego, they would never ask anyone for help. And ultimately too, in my personal case, they are looking at my dogs that they could never put out. And if they actually had humility, they would genuinely be wondering, how did he do that? And maybe some of them are behind the scenes, which would be very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
would
think
wish,
there are a lot of lurkers, like
and that's cool.
mostly. Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's cool. Like that's totally fine. I
Mhm.
would just hope that you adjust your public persona and you start going like, hey, like
Yeah.
maybe there are better ways. I don't know. Like there was a guy. There was a guy, and I actually don't want to call him out because he did course correct. Um, there was like a big time guy who initially had like a bad reaction to me.
Mhm.
I don't like the stuff he says. Management is actually as far as most of these dogs go, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then at some point later, he was DMing me asking if I did like a shadowing program. And
Love that.
this is a guy that's like got like 5 times the outreach of me. Is like very well known, and then like his videos are popping up, and it's like, oh, he's using a retractable leash, and he's talking about letting dogs make choices, and he's
Wow.
like, oh, I wonder where you got that shit from. But it doesn't matter. But like people were messaging me, be like, he like took your ideas. That's not. I don't
That's the
care.
point. That's
Yeah,
the
like I
point.
don't care. Like that does not. Why would that bother? Why would that bother me? I don't care.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe he's getting like half of it right, but at least half of it is reaching a
Yes.
larger audience. I don't
Yes.
feel the need. Again, that would be the ego
It's not your
response.
identity. Yes.
Right. That would be the
Yeah.
ego response, which would be like, well, you should have said, I'm here with a day-to-day classic or something. Like, no, that's fucking gay. I don't care.
Do you know how many ideas are just stolen, recycled ideas, and like every
Where
fucking
do you
idea
think
in
I
dog
got my
training? Like
things from?
exactly.
Where
Like
I
yes, give
literally
credit where you
went to
can, but the
school.
reality is any of the stuff that is now common sense was somebody's brand new fresh idea at some point that we've all just
But
integrated
that's
into
but
daily
that's
life.
not
Like
but that's not
it's the point.
that's not like a concession. That's not like a, oh well, I got, it's like that's a normal part of human
Or
experience, is
yes,
learning
exactly.
from other people and then
Exactly.
trying to improve it or
Yes,
to
there's no
hone it.
shame in that. Yeah.
Right, right. So I don't, and if uh these individuals had said credit to, so I'd be like, hey, thanks. But that doesn't like make me go, I'm the best. Like, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. I would rather it just that people have better ideas to play around with.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's the
That's
point
it.
of it.
Yes.
Um, so that, but to circle it back a little bit to last episode, where people are like, huh, now everyone's playing with dogs, acting like it's a new thing. Who cares?
Yes.
I
Yes.
never said it was a new thing. Shouldn't you just be happy that more people are playing with
Great.
dogs? Why are you
Right.
being a little, that thing about it? Why? Just
Yes.
like be like, who care? Oh well, actually, the first person to throw a spherical object to a canine was Thaddeus von Denmark in the year 1604. Who fucking cares, dude? Like that's so gay. Like that's so fucking. I care about the dog training. That's it. Just oh,
Circling back. Yeah, go ahead. Go
and then they would be like, "You have a big ego,"
ahead. Yes.
and they'd be like, "You're gonna be humbled." The same people. Anyways,
Okay.
just,
I'm bored of this. Let's go back to the actual dog training.
it does suck. It sucks. It really sucks. Hate it.
No, I did want to talk though a little bit more about Remy. Okay, so after your catastrophic outing, just
Mhm.
breaking down the variables, making it into more bite-sized chunks for her where she can actually learn to deal with those situations. That's your overall strategy moving forward. Is that is there anything else you're changing based off of
Yes.
that? Or okay, tell me more.
I know we have juice to squeeze and play.
Okay.
I know that this is another. I just got gassed up. I'll be honest with you, I just got goosebumps. This is another thing where you actually just don't know, like, okay, how do I want to put this? I kind of want to call someone out. I'm not going to. um,
Text it to me though, because now I want to know.
there was, there was someone that I like a lot
Okay.
who's training. Like I'm like, yep. But there was a moment where this individual was saying, "How are you going to find reps to address this if you can't get the dog to mess up and play?"
Mm.
That is a question that I would ask a lot. Oh,
Hmm.
well, the dog won't mess up. I can't get him to mess up. What's actually
Right.
going on is you're not creative enough yet.
Correct. Yeah.
That is the thing to me that is really exciting and why I got gassed up. It's because I know now I have more means to push dogs further.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like to create more obvious, clear criteria within play,
Mhm.
and also to drive the drive higher, the arousal higher, because I can play
Yes.
better.
Yes.
Um, so like both of those two things, as you get better, more possibilities open up. So like I remember being like, oh, the dog held a sit and I bounced the ball in front of him, and it's like, see, we have nowhere to go on that. It's like
And not even
that's
close.
like that's where you've just got the door open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like from there, I'm like, I wonder what would happen if I released him and then I tried calling him. The call off. And again, like these are things that have existed in sports for fucking 600 years. I know. But like for me, like kind of going on that journey and then seeing things in
And also,
like
sorry, like
no, please.
the whole how would you make him mess up, or what if he doesn't mess up during play? Like, just ask anyone who's in sports and ask them how to get
Yes.
their dog to mess up.
Look at your exercises and the combination of things and which order you do them in and
It's
how the
actually
decoys
insane.
behaving. So so
Yep.
so then you look at like Mondio ring, right? Or is it French ring where
Hang on,
when the
sir.
dog
I
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
There's my door. Anyway,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. When you said, "Oh, Dylan's doing bite sports now," when I put out that video of that black German Shepherd.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's to what you just said about just ask a sporting person how to get the dog to mess up. Um,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
so like another example would be I can't remember what dog sport it is where when the dog outs, they're supposed to default into a down. Like it's like out down.
Yeah.
They're supposed to down in front of the decoy or something. Um,
There's a lot of sports where that's an option.
so with Remy,
Yeah, but yeah.
I know it would be seriously fucking hard for her to let her win. She goes to take it to thrash and go into what do they call it, consumption, where it's like I've got it, and then I out her and tell her to down next to it from distance, from distance. I know that's going to touch things that we haven't interacted with yet, and that's just one thing that like a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't even thought, like that
And I
combination
think
of
what's so
things.
interesting about that is people would think that a call off might be harder than that, but that actually probably will be harder for Remy
For Remy, that
because
will be
it's
way harder.
action into yeah,
That'll
yeah, yeah,
be
yeah.
substantially harder.
Yep.
especially
Yep.
especially also too because I'm not there outing the hand.
Correct.
Like the thing is actually just a neutral out right there.
Yes.
And
And it's like this temptation of like, oh my God, it's right in front of me. I was just beating it up and feeling so good about
right.
it. Now I have to out and stare at it.
And
It's
to be
like
clear
it's
too,
very difficult.
I would allow her to down with her muzzle like right there. So
Yep.
it is just
But you
right
just
there.
can't bite it.
It's just right
Yep.
there. You know?
Yep.
Um so you can really this is another area where I've made like I've been progressing a lot more recently is coming up with sort of like demonic. things to do to dogs. So like there's a clip for anybody that's hunting.
I was gonna say
Um,
there's your
but
animal
but
abuse.
like one of my favorite ones. One I don't do it so much anymore, but for proofing the heel, like I remember there was this golden retriever I had that loved to play frisbee, and this is when I was currently in TWC, like I was in the course, and I was just like we would get done with some of the material, and I'm like, dude, I just want to go fuck around right now. Um, the dog loved the frisbee, so like I would have one person heel the dog and then like forward, and I would have someone ahead of the dog, and then I would be behind, and we would play like catch with the frisbee over the dog's shoulder while she had to heel back and forth, and it was like excruciating. Um, but that you can get crazy levels of compliance, but also for the dogs, they get that what regulation, however like whatever it's called, like they really like I can control myself right now. So this is a very long way for me to say that we don't Remy and I have a lot of things we could do outside of dogs generally to
Yep.
really continue to push the control, like crazy control.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that'd be good.
Um, yeah. So the other, and again, like kind of potentially towards the end of the podcast. So I'm like, once again, bringing up a potential topic
And
at
my
the
phone,
end,
my phone
but
is dying too, but let it rip.
okay. Okay. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, and kind of what we've talked about so far with Remy has been like active emotional regulation, for lack of a better word. Like there's
Hmm.
movement, there's obedience commands, like it's very, it's, the dog is still kind of like freely moving. Um, I want to talk a little bit about other potential techniques, and I touched on it a little bit, I think, when we first started talking about Remy 2 episodes ago. We were talking about, like, escalation and de-escalation in play and using the cradle and, like, physical touch, um, as a means to get cooperation and relaxation. So I kind of wanted to piece that apart a little bit, again, just as, like, other ideas for dogs that do have a really hard time with just constantly being in that like vibrating uh just like wired state.
You know what I'm going to tell you to do?
And yes.
I'm going to tell you to follow the trail of content, because I don't necessarily think you got the idea from this. I actually know that you didn't, because you wanted to talk about this weeks ago. But I,
Yeah.
I put up a picture of Remy a couple days ago with her boots on for the first time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I said at the end of it that the process of getting her to to have the boots put on will probably end up being more useful than the training we're about to go do with the boots on.
Yes.
And that ended up
Yep.
being true. I
Yep.
mean, both. I think we actually did have a really good training outing too. But the process of her coming out of the crate, and she's like, "What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?" It's like, well, actually, and this is a dog that, by the way, when she came in, if you tried picking her up, she would try to break your nose with her skull, like crazy flail, like crazy, right? Even the slightest feeling of restraint would start to put her into that dimension. And getting the boots on, it actually, this was one of the reasons, one of the ways that I knew we actually have been making a lot of progress. Is because it was a process, but it was not a battle. It wasn't like war, but I did have to be like, "Yo, hey, dude, come on!" Like you have to,
Yep.
and that, yeah, I think that's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, no, 100%, where it's like, and I think again, Remy's a better example than I even thought is a tolerance of restraint, I think
Hmm.
is something that people don't realize how many pet dogs actually do struggle with that. Like how many people cannot trim their dog's nails, cannot
I
do
should have recorded it. I
um
should have recorded it. Someone,
yeah, you should have.
someone,
I
someone
actually
commented that they were like, "I wish I could see
yeah,
what you did." I should have fucking
yeah.
recorded it.
I actually recorded a session super impromptu with one of my club members' dogs that was struggling a little bit with nail trims, and I think I want to edit and post it because
Hmm.
it probably is very similar to what you did. Um but yeah, like that is a massive issue, where like a lot of people won't come to a dog trainer for it because it's like we can pay someone to do their nails or like take them to the vet and they like kind of deal with it and then they don't have to think about it for a couple months or whatever, or people just don't maintain their dogs husbandry, which is another sad thing. There's a lot of dogs that can't get groomed, can't get their nails trimmed, can't have a vet exam without it being a war, and there's never any progress or learning that happens from that. And I think it's a huge one. So like I think it's just valuable for dogs period to understand that they have to cooperate with that type of husbandry. But then also for dogs like Remy and a lot of working dogs that are just extremely easily stimulated by touch, easily frustrated by restraint, it is something that you kind of have to actually piece apart and work on and isolate into training and drills, because they're not just going to tolerate that automatically, and working on that can bleed into a ton of other components, that I think people really like. It can be a lot more powerful than I think people realize.
Absurdly powerful.
Yeah, yeah,
Like a
yeah,
scattershot effect of dominoes. Like it's
yeah.
crazy.
Like again, that's a huge mindset shift that, similar to what we were talking about before about when you the first time you tell a dog like, hey, what's coming out of my mouth is relevant. It's
Right.
very similar to that, where it's like, hey, actually you do have to
So
give to my touch.
so with that aggressive shelter chihuahua Chip,
Yes.
one of the landmark moments was when he eventually had to learn to accept me picking him up to put him in the car. And I actually posted most of the session where it was going very poorly, and it's a fucking hilarious video. Um, but but we've talked about this off camera a lot because it's like fascinating and also really frustrating to see people incapable of this. Because people are going to want to know how would you actually approach this situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't, it's not necessarily interesting to go into exact, like, it's like, it's, dude, you make the dog do it. However,
Yeah.
this
Yes.
is it. This is the thing that you brought to my attention that immediately made sense. Some individuals associate asserting yourself with wrath,
Yes.
and they are not able to naturally assert themselves unconditionally, inevitably assert themselves from a place of empathy, which is how this is done.
Yes.
Like, it is actually possible to have even a moment of punishment sometimes, but to have a moment where, like, no, this is happening and it's just I can't, I'm not going to allow you to think otherwise, but have that be totally disconnected from any feeling of, or feeling, but more so presentation of frustration or displeasure or friction.
Or forced, quite honestly. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Like force
Right.
in the very like
Right.
I'm beating you over the head type force. Like,
Right.
and so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about though, is that I think a lot of people, again, where people do it badly with good intentions is that, so vet techs actually you can tell immediately like good vet tech from a bad one. People that hold the dog against them with the dog not choosing to stay there
Right.
versus putting the dog into a hold and making the only obvious choice that the dog stays there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like the dog needs to actually give and choose to allow the restraint. I'm not forcing it the entire like, I'm not holding you in the chair. I'm going, "Hey, hey, please sit down." And I am making that happen
Right.
via the consequences and my attitude and like that I am asserting that that will happen, but you in your head are cooperating in that process. And that's the difference between constantly having to fight your dog into a nail trim or into taking its medicine versus being able to go, hey, I need you to do this right now.
Yeah.
I know this is unpleasant, but we're going to do it together. It'll be done. And then we'll go play, then we'll whatever.
Right.
And that's like people end up in the first instance accidentally creating a dog who's just better at fighting restraint
Right.
versus a dog who's actually like, okay, let's just get this over with. I understand. And then, just bite the bullet for a second, then we'll be done.
Or
You're not going to hurt me,
or
et
the
cetera, et cetera.
dog
Yeah.
the dog adapts like in possession games where if they realize they're not stronger, they'll try
Yes.
to sneak.
Yes. Yes.
Like literally. And then
Yes.
they become awesome at gauging like muscle tension.
1,000%. A
For
1,000%.
real.
Like I can be and like I think that's the subtlety that is very, very. I've always struggled with videoing this or even like teaching this to clients that have potentially difficult dogs, where the dog will start to revert because they start to get some leverage on the owner. Is I can be not holding the dog at all.
Mhm.
Like I'm not putting any tension on the dog. Like there is no physical force that I'm exerting, but the dog absolutely knows like I'm still
Mhm.
in control and you must be here, versus an owner like exerting force and holding them down and the dog is fighting that the entire time.
And this is
And like the
so
optics look really similar,
right.
but yeah,
That's the
it's very
problem, is that
difficult to convey.
it looks identical. It's you're kind of getting into this
Yeah.
intangible concept,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think kind of you can put all under this bucket that I would vaguely call like, and this is so cringy, but it's how people perceive it, the presence.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like somewhere along the line with breeding, and I could be off, but I feel like dogs were engineered not to default to respect the guy going, "Ruh," but just like the silent, clear,
Well, it's
assertive.
all animals.
Right.
It's all animals.
Right.
Like nobody respects the leader who has to yell.
Go
Like
fucking crazy.
imagine
Yeah.
parenting.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Like
that is a clear
in
sign.
a
Again,
pinch that
that is
could
a
be
clear sign that you cannot regulate your
right.
emotions, and
Right.
I am not going to follow an emotionally dysregulated leader.
And
Like
it's a
that is
time, it's a
very.
time and place. I think that there is a time and
But
place for
again,
like
like you can pop off under complete control.
under
Like you
total
can very
control.
intentionally
Under
raise your
complete control.
voice, make a
Yes.
very aggressive movement forward, but flip that on, flip that off, and have that be taken the way that you intended it
100%.
to be. And
100%.
yeah, and yeah,
And I do
like you're not being just goaded into it by the environment and just reactionary. Like that's the difference.
100%.
And
And
that is
that
completely evolutionarily hardwired.
and
Yeah.
we're sort of I feel like circling back to, this is gonna be very like boomer coded, but like you know how grandpa's dogs were, like that type of concept, which
Yeah.
I think people really get, they really romanticize it at some level, but I think that there is truth in there, where it's
One
like
of my friends said like all of society's problems started when people started growing up not on farms. And
yeah,
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like
yeah,
interacting with animals young and self-discovering a lot of this is wildly
yeah.
beneficial.
But if you think about it, it's like, why, like if grandpa didn't want the new dog jumping on the counter,
Yep.
he slapped him
And
in the
told them to
face.
stop.
And there was no warning. It was just like a right.
Yep. Don't do that.
And then
Yep.
after that, it's like, all right, let's go outside. And
Yep.
it's just
No hard
over,
feelings.
right? Right. And
Yep.
I'm not trying to make
Again,
everything
the way
seem as
dogs
simple as that.
interact with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and by the way, I'm also not saying you need to smack your dog in the face to get him to accept a nail trim or something like
Yeah.
that. But the thing you can
Yeah.
substitute, oftentimes with you can substitute physical force with the time dial, which you could also call inevitability, however you would say it. But like if you watch that video with the clip with Chip, or like I'm going to put him in the car, and he's like, well, actually, as you're trying to do this, I'm going to bite you. And I'm like, well, no, you're not. And then he goes, okay, I'm going to wait for you to set me down, and then I'm going to bite you. Well, actually, no, you're not. And he very clearly, you can watch him have the ideas of like, I'm going to check this, I'm going to check that, I'm going to see, does he loosen his grip here, does he tighten his grip there, whatever. And the whole time
Yes.
I'm just holding the dog, and I'm like,
Yep.
we are not,
It's almost the opposite. Yeah.
there's no forward progression. Like we're not getting out of here until you do as I please, which is to allow me to pick you up, put you in the car, and you get in the crate, and there's no attack.
Yep.
And just repeatedly showing him, for sure at some level, I am the stronger animal. I am not going to relent, but I'm also not trying to tear your head off. I'm not.
Correct. I'm not using the fact that I'm the stronger animal to
Right.
like lord that over you
You
and
know it.
disempower you.
You know it at some level. This is actually something we were talking about on a class call yesterday, talking about the use of aversives with like fear aggressive dogs. and how actually this is my belief. I think there's something to be said for a dog that's like defying you by attacking. If you stop him in a way where it's convincing, like you cannot beat me, period. But you do it in such a diplomatic way, like dispassionate way. I think something happens where the dogs are like, that dude could have just beat me to death. And he did not. And he did not. He's being really patient with me right now. Like he's very clearly not using half of his capabilities. He's not even
Yeah,
showing
there's a
interest
quote.
to, right?
Yeah,
Like he
there's a
just
quote I can't remember right now, but it's that where it's like true trust doesn't come from uh a lack of someone hurting you. It comes from realizing that someone can and they
yeah,
don't.
yeah. It's like if I imagine if I'm a baby gorilla
Yeah,
and I'm just doing
maybe you are. It's fine.
yeah, and I'm just doing dumb baby gorilla things, and like my dad who's a silverback turns around and he looks at me just like and shrugs. It's kind of a reminder like he could just fucking kill me right now. Right? Like it wouldn't even be a fucking contest. But he's
No.
not. He's not. Even if he stomped the ground and was like, dude, it's a
Hmm.
reminder not only that I have to listen, but it speaks to your character that you are showing that restraint. Not your
Yes.
character, but your intentions with me. Um,
Yes.
so I
Yes.
think I
Yeah.
think that
A relationship.
in that
Yeah.
in that moment, even say you're doing a nail trim and say the dog snaps at you or something, right?
Mhm.
Dude, hey, come on, man.
Yep.
Like what?
Yep. And I think I wanted to circle back to Chip for exactly that
Hmm.
reason, where again, people would expect from you that you would like punch him in the head when he tried
Ah!
to bite you. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
It's like
Yeah.
no,
And it's like you did nothing,
right.
basically. It's just
Effectively
like, dude,
nothing.
we're not doing this.
And maybe
Yeah.
along the way, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, like Chip, like
Yeah.
I'll hold
Come
him,
on.
I'll look at him. I'm like, like what?
What are you doing?
It comes back to like episode 2 or something, but like trying to isolate the bad behavior and make it seem out of place. Sort of the same thing.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
dude,
We're not freaking out right now.
we're
Why are
just
you
we're
freaking out?
trying to
I'm
get in
not
the
freaking
car.
out.
I'm trying to put your boots on. Like I'm trying to give you this
Yep.
shot, whatever it is, and then I
Yep.
want you to get out of here,
I
dude.
am not going to work. Like I am not stepping up to your level of
Right,
crazy
right,
in this situation.
and with some
We're not
dogs,
going there.
that would actually be willing to do it all day, or some dogs that are really
Yes.
dangerous, maybe
Yes.
being more
Again,
physically
Charlie
aversive.
or Blue, one of the cattle dogs you had was you had to actually stop him from biting
Oh
because it
yeah,
was becoming
when I stuck my hands in her
suffer. Like
mouth and
that
she was
happens.
I
Yeah.
actually had to
Yeah.
hold like physically stop like hold you right. I
Yeah.
couldn't wait you out
Yeah.
because she was gonna break my hand. I'm not even joking.
Yes. Like that
Um,
definitely happens. But with a Chihuahua like Chip,
right,
who is
right,
oh, this is what I was gonna say too. It's the opposite. So the way that I tell people how to like get dogs to play is allow the dog to have success with the strategy that you want to promote, right? So if you want thrashing, if you want pulling, if you want pushing, whatever it is, you can't not respond to that strategy. Like one of a really good IGP helper, he talks about imagine you punch someone in the face and they don't even flinch. Are you going to punch them again? Probably not. And like people do that all the time with dogs where the dog will present attempt something and they do absolutely nothing.
right.
And then the dog's like, well, that didn't
I'm
fucking
not gonna
work.
try it
This
again.
dude's made of steel.
Right.
I'm not going to try it again. Yep. So it's the exact opposite of that, where Chip was literally just trying strategies to go, hey, can I get out of this? Can I make this stop? I don't like this unpleasant thing that's happening to me. And I'm going to throw out all these different things that have definitely worked in the past for him as well. So why wouldn't he try again? And we're just going to go, we don't even have to do anything about it. We just go, hey, dude, like, it's not going to work. Like, just going to happen.
Extinction, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
extinction.
100%.
I
And again,
use
like, so
extinction.
underrated
I use extinction constantly.
constantly. Yes.
You
Yes.
could argue in some senses, in some cases, I shouldn't even say this. Extinction is actually like more crucial to me than positive punishment
No, I
in
agree. I
so
agree.
many in so many areas. And then often positive punishment just seals the door. Like, it just, like, is like the convincing, like, nope, that was everything that just happened where that was coming up empty. Now I'm also adding the fact that it's bad.
Yep. It's like what you were talking about with a dog socialization, where it's like the dog just needs to discover what's going on.
Right.
Like it's usually that simple. And like,
Yeah.
again, kind of opposite, but same principle with extinction. Let the dog figure it out. You
Right.
just give them the opportunity to like resolve it in their head,
Yeah.
present the right opportunities and the right outcomes, and the dog trains itself.
And there's certainly with a lot of like the old school, like, if you let the dog even freak out like that, you're his bitch. It's like, but that's how you are perceiving it. What
Correct.
what Chip is
Yeah.
perceiving, what Chip is
Tell me
perceiving,
you're not tell me you're a fragile bitch without telling me you're a fragile
right.
bitch.
Well, it's I'm sure there's some of that going on with a lot of these guys, but to me, it speaks
Oh,
to
for sure.
a lack of willingness to try to think of the dog's perception. Um,
Yes, well, and that's what I mean is like that person perceives everything as a
right.
personal attack.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they are
Everything.
most
So,
fragile people.
but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but in Chip's mind, what's happening is he's coming up empty, and for sure there's going to be the I guess this is a more apt use of spontaneous recovery, or no, the extinction burst. Extinction burst. There's going to be an extinction burst for sure, where in his mind he's realizing, wait, this is ceasing to exist. I need to just go all out one or
Yep.
two more times, and
This is all I got.
so
Yep.
you may see that as Dylan's fighting with a chihuahua and he's letting him do that. Where actually there it is such a non-event and
The
such
whole
a
like letting them get away with it is so hilarious to
right.
me.
But
Like it's just yeah.
this is if you want to talk dominance, we can. I'm so dominant over the dog that there is no fight. And that's how he's perceiving it. I promise you, right? Like, you can look at the aftermath. If that didn't work, then I'd be like, okay, now, well, actually I have to stop you. But like that whole, like, wow, he's beating you, but what he's thinking is, I'm losing, I'm losing, I'm losing. I'm losing, and this guy's not even trying. I'm losing so bad. I'm losing so bad, I shouldn't even think of him this way anymore. Right?
Yep. Like again, that's where people go wrong with protection dogs all the time, where the dog will go, oh, I'm gonna punch this guy. And they're like, you gotta give me more. And then the dog's like, I don't have that in me. Like
Yeah.
your non-reaction is
Killed him.
extinguishing that.
Killed him.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But like the optic is, oh, that dog just had success biting you because you let him bite you. And it's like, no, he bit you and you did nothing.
Right.
The fact that his mouth is on
Yeah.
the sleeve, or in this case, the fact that
Yeah.
Chip's mouth is on your hand as you're putting him in the car is
Does not
absolutely
imply it does not
meaningless.
imply anything as to what's going on in his
Nothing.
mind. Yes.
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 Yes. Yeah. Well,
I mean, to
anything
circle it,
else on that?
well, to circle it
Yeah.
back to the nail, I guess that my to give more like clear, hey, this is what I would try toying around with. Um, getting, like, using time, not going in saying we need to be in and out in 2 minutes. No, like, if a dog is having a serious issue, it may be a scenario where we've got to be there for a little bit. Maybe I get him to accept one nail, right? Accept
Yep.
one nail.
But I'll even start with people being like, hey, just put the dog between your legs and hold them.
Right.
Like, get them to
Make
give to that.
sure
Or even,
make
yeah.
sure he sees the tool coming. No
Yep.
sneak, like, this needs to be totally
Yep.
as like everything
Yes.
is
We're
on the
not
table.
tricking him. We're
Right.
not bribing him.
There's no
Yeah.
tricks. There is no tricks. And there's no bribery. However, that doesn't mean you also can't use food. So, like, let's say that this dog is having like an extremely hard time with this, and I get 2 nails, and he genuinely, it was not a fight. He's going, dude, I surrender, but like, this is seriously a
Mhm.
lot. It's like, okay, I'm gonna set the tool
Yep.
down, and I'm gonna give you some treats, and we'll chill for a second.
Yep. Well, go play.
Right.
Go run around.
Right.
Yep.
Now I would, maybe this is where we may disagree a little bit. I don't want to turn this into a production. So I wouldn't even necessarily unhook the dog, say he's on a thingy. I probably would like leave him up there and like let him move around a
Yeah.
little
I think
bit.
it depends how much stress relief
Yeah.
the dog actually needs.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I definitely, I mean, say that you do get up and you play and you run around and you do all those types of things. When you reset it, the expectation is we
Yes.
get back to
Yes.
that state of total, I get it.
This
Like,
is exactly the same. Your reaction that you just had to me is exactly the same reaction I had to you putting Remy in it down.
yeah, 'cause I'm like, I'm
Like,
assuming you're fucking it up. Yeah.
yeah. No, and like I literally just had that realization where I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I can do that super fucking effectively. Like, it's not a production at all, but
We're
like
going
it's the
to,
same.
because
Oh,
people would do that. They would do that and turn
yes,
it into ball, and then
yes,
they'd be like, well,
yes.
now we're having
And
so
they would
much
turn
fun
it into correct,
transaction,
correct,
and yeah, and you would miss the dog actually genuinely being like, I'm doing this because you told me to, not because the ball is gonna fly. And
correct. And then we're
um
making a clear release
right.
into
And
play. It's
you
like it
actually, with
is
play,
peak
what's interesting
trough.
about play that could actually fuck you up too is you could make the dog, because he's in a higher state of arousal, he could become more resilient and just take the nail without actually like truly accepting it,
Submitting. Yeah.
which could
Well, this is where so the dopamine box thing, this is where people, in my opinion, go wrong with it. Is they just put the dog into a state of um and like there's definitely utility to it, but again, it's like the extreme versions where people start to like miss the point and break it a little bit. Um they almost put the dog into this state where the dog is not even actually aware of what's happening,
not facing the
and that's not
demons.
actually, yeah, and like that's not actually doing anything. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we can give you the hope of this ending and ending in actually a pretty fun way, but there still has to be a give
Hmm.
and a compliance. And then like it's not just that I'm blinding you with adrenaline
Right.
and then it'll be done at some, like there has to be
Blinding
thought
you with
behind. It's almost the
adrenaline
same
is
way
a really
people,
interesting way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
yeah, yeah,
It sounds extreme, but like, especially if you're using high octane play, you absolutely could do that to a dog. 100, and
yes,
you
yes.
could get a
It's how
serious
a
false
lot of
positive.
dogs end up dealing with pressure and bite. Yes, there's a lot
Uh,
of dogs that look really fucking good in bite work until you take them out of the bite work scenario and put environmental pressure on them, and they crumble. Like it's the same the same phenomenon. But yeah, but yeah, like I think that again, like that subtlety of the dog needs to make the decision to submit, and that's what a lot of people miss is they just physically manipulate the dog, same as what you're talking about with Remy, where like you can physically stop the dog, but mechanical
well,
stoppage is very
it
very
sort of
different from
comes
mental.
it comes back to the black pill message I got this one time from this dude who, he's on like an anonymous account. He must be, I imagine, a really good dog trainer, because he'll say things that like I don't understand, and I'm like, oh shit, like but when he said, I genuinely don't like. Do you think people can actually recognize the difference between a dog being defiant and a dog needing help or whatever? And
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that question keeps me up at night.
I know,
Because I don't know that that can be taught. I don't know if we may have talked about that on an
I know.
episode. Like, I don't know. So,
No, it is a topic I want to get into eventually
because
more
like
deeply, is like how do you develop.
the dog refusing the nails, um, it's possible he's trying really fucking hard,
Yes,
and
yes,
you're
it's
close,
possible that he's actually legitimately panicking.
right? And you could get it if you approach it from a super, again, like
Yes,
empathetic, but then another dog could be having this, like, performing the same problem,
the exact same behavior.
but doing it from a place of like, I'm not listening to you. And
1000%.
if you treat him with that empathy approach, you could actually just cause a shitload of issues. And he may be the dog that actually needs the physical, dude, fucking stop. And that like, some people like this guy, he said, if you ever found a way to teach people that, you'd be the greatest that ever lived.
Yeah.
Whoever could get other trainers to, or dog owners to get that, would immediately have the most important training material ever. Because there is some level of natural, like, being able to see. But here's the hope. Here's the hope that I have on this.
Mhm.
Some people are really bad at it because of the way they train, not allowing them to engage with the dogs on the emotional spectrum. So if you change the way that you train and what your priorities are, I think a lot of people will have that third eye, the mind's eye open to be able to see those things where previously they were totally oblivious. I think I told you I was working with and if this person hears this, I mean this totally from a place of like a very cool place because this is really cool. Um, but I was helping uh, a French ring trainer with a board and train, this little dachshund that was giving her a really hard time. Um, and everything that they were doing, there was just was rife with conflict. And she genuinely couldn't see that like the way she was treating him was that he was being like this super defiant, mean bastard, but actually he just like didn't like her. And
Yeah.
she just wasn't giving him reasons to like her. And I could see it, I
Yeah.
could see it just like instantly. But they made some adjustments. And when I talked to her again, she was like, Dylan, it's crazy. Like, well, actually, I went back and when she brought him out, like the way he was looking at her, everything was different. And I didn't say anything because I wanted to see if she would say something. And she tried to explain it to me in the way that I try to explain things that I don't understand. And
Yes.
I was like, stop. I was like, stop, 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 stop. Because she was basically saying, I feel like something's different, but I don't know what it is. And I
Yep.
was like, he likes you. So like,
Yep.
but that all that took for her to be able to see the difference in the attitude was having someone be like, hey, let's stop worrying about how long he can hold the sit and see like if we can get him to sit from a place of like, okay, I know that one. Cool. Instead of like, I'm gonna wait for her to make me do it. Like you know. But it took one experience for someone to be like, why don't you think about what he's thinking?
Yep.
And
Just break the mold of what
everything
you
started
think
making
you're supposed to
sense.
be doing.
So that's sort
Yep.
of my
Yeah. Yeah, I think anyone who genuinely has the capacity for empathy and emotional
can
connection
reach it.
can learn to do it with dogs. Yeah, like if you have good relationships with humans, it's definitely possible to do it with dogs, but it does take a little bit of challenging base assumptions and breaking out of yeah, just like the standard industry paradigms, and then also just literally specifically learning to apply it to the animal of the
And
dog versus
that was like when she said that to me, I couldn't figure out why that caused such a big response from me. I
yeah.
played it cool, like, yeah, that's pretty sick, huh? But like internally, I was like, why why did that make me just like have like a gasp of air? And I think that looking back, that was like hope core. I was like, wait, it can be done. Like it can be spread. You know what I mean? Like and it can be very organic like that. Where I
Mhm,
didn't have to
mhm.
show two pictures of the dog's face and be like, what's he thinking here? What's he think? It's like, no, go out and play and train with the dog and just think a little bit differently. And the next meeting, it's like this huge revelation and the gates are open. And that's just with one person. And I was like, that made me like actual hope. So yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
I agree. Um, yeah,
yeah.
wait, are we gonna end a podcast on a high note?
Insane.
That's pretty cool.
Gonna hit end right now before we devolve to another rant.
Yep. See you guys next time.
All right.
Peace
Bye.
out.